And a pleasant good morning, everybody. We welcome you to downtown Oklahoma City. No better way to get your week going than with the unofficial ribbon cutting of the 2023-2024 NBA season. It is Thunder Media Day from the Convention Center here in the heart of Oklahoma. You see all the different stations as the Thunder team players will be walking through this over the next couple of hours. All their obligations, the various stations, including ours, inside the Convention Center, where we will be conducting interviews over the next couple hours and getting a chance to talk to these players for the first time coming into this season. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm with my guys, some familiar faces, some familiar names. Royce Young, of course, who has been a contributor on OKCThunder.com. He's been a contributor on our broadcasts. Matt Pinto, our radio voice here with the Oklahoma City Thunder. How many years have you been doing it now, Matt?
A lot. 34 in the league, it's unreal. I'm 37, so it's the math doesn't really add up. But you know, yeah.
And I just turned 27 too.
That math works too. Michael Cage, of course, rebounding aficionado with us, and my broadcast partner, of course, I'm Chris Fisher. So thank you guys for being with us. And Royce, I guess we can start with you. It's been a long time since we last saw this Thunder team, all the way back on April 14th. That's when you zoom out, and then you go through all the summer adventures of free agency, the draft, and summer league. But now as you zoom back in and we start to take focus on this Thunder team yet again, what's something that stands out, and what are you guys looking forward to as this season is about to get underway?
Well, I mean, I felt it, Chris, just as the players just started walking in here and you see them in their full uniforms kind of for the first time, and it gives you that kind of buzz of energy and excitement. But yeah, it is, you want to start kind of looking back to where things finished, and then you progress through the offseason where a lot of players honed in on their crafts. They looked at different things that they wanted to improve upon. Where did they want to come back, strengthen their own personal games? We've seen it with so many players in this organization. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done that multiple times. This guy we're all excited to see right here. Can't wait to see him on the court.
We are wasting no time, and how about we get the interview started? Nobody better here than Chet Holmgren. And Chet, welcome to Media Day, and I'm sure that there is nobody more excited to be getting on the basketball court more than you.
I don't think we should make a challenge of it, because we have a lot of dudes on this team very excited to get the season going, and dudes have been working really hard this summer, so the excitement is pretty high across the board.
Chet, tell us about your summer. We saw you a little bit in summer league. Some of the things that went on last summer that was a little bit different than the previous summer. How did all that kind of brought you to where you are right now?
Yeah, like you said, I had a great opportunity to get back out and playing again and start feeling the game out again at Summer League. And I tried to just continue that on after Summer League ended. I got out to LA, started playing pickup with dudes across the league, and continued to really work on my game and continued to do that until I came back to OKC and was playing pickup with the guys here. And now here we are on Media Day, starting training camp tomorrow.
Chet, I'm curious, you had time to be around the team a season ago in your rehab in that long process. What did you gain in learning in terms of being with the team as close to the floor as you were, getting a sense of the system at both ends, and how did that influence you this offseason?
Yeah, obviously there's no substitution for playing, and you wish you get to play 82 games, but I felt like I did a really good job of living in my reality and trying to make the most of my situation, and I had a great opportunity to be really close up to the game, not only while the game is going. You see a lot of things courtside that you don't see on the TV when you're watching, and I was also in all those pregame film sessions, halftime talks, post-game talks, practices, things like that, and I was just trying to make the most of the situation and learn as much as I could, knowing that it would pay dividends going forward.
It was certainly a small sample size, but getting the opportunity to experience Summer League and finally getting out on the floor with some of your teammates, were you able to employ some of that experience that you had last year by sitting and learning the league, learning the system? Were you able to feel that early in those Summer League games?
100%. I felt like there were some things that felt a little bit less fine-tuned that I had been doing at a really high level before I got hurt, and I feel like there were things that I had no opportunity to work on in live 5-on-5 just for a lack of opportunity because of the injury, that I felt like I did really well at Summer League, and a lot of that came down to film sessions with Coach and really watching the game and seeing how it worked and employing that without even having practiced it a lot. So hopefully I can continue that going. And as I'm getting live reps with this stuff throughout the training camp and season, I can really fine-tune those as well as some of the other things that I feel I need to catch back up on.
Chet, we talked about this a couple weeks ago about your mindset as a team-oriented guy and where you can really be additive with this group. Where are those areas that you really feel like that you can just add to the group that's already in place?
I feel like I have a pretty holistic game, and there's a lot of different things that I try to do on the basketball court to help the team win, and whether it's offense or defense, protecting the rim, spacing the floor, shooting the basketball, or creating shots for myself or my teammates off the dribble or out of different situations, even without the ball in my hand. I feel like there's a lot of different areas that I can help the team raise their floor and strive for the ceiling, and that'll change every single night throughout the season, and I'm looking forward to it.
Chet, there's been so much focus, of course, with you on the floor and what to expect, but you have been so involved in this OKC community off the floor. What is the source of that, and what has been motivating you to get so involved, whether it's handing out coats or being a part of Thanksgiving? People might not be able to see that as much as we do here within the organization.
Yeah, it's not always about people seeing it and getting praise for it. If people do see it, it's hopefully to inspire them to do the same if they have the opportunity to, and that's just kind of something that I was taught growing up. If you have the ability to help others, do so, because what goes around comes around. So it's all about spreading the love, and especially to a community that, it came around to me as well. They showed me plenty of love, even though, I had a tough situation, and, they definitely helped make it better.
Your length is obvious in terms of what you bring to the floor. I'm curious, though, Chet, the fearless competitor that we've seen you be in the limited time we've seen you, where does that come from?
Part of it nature, part of it nurture, I guess. Just growing up, my coaches always instilled it in me. You can't be soft and expect to win, the hard-nosed battles. So it was partly that, and then partly just being hard-headed growing up, not wanting to let anybody get one over on you. That extended on the court, off the court, whatever it might be. And, it's helped me to this point.
Well, Chet, thank you very much. We're so glad you're healthy. We're eager to see you finally get out on the basketball court. But as you said, I'm sure nobody's more eager than you are to finally make your professional debut here with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So thank you so much. Have a great training camp.
Thanks, Chet.
Yeah, we'll put that down. Well, it didn't take long for us to get our first interview in. Huh?
You want to finish?
Took about 30 seconds.
Can you please reintroduce me now?
I want to ask you, though, because you brought a lot of the same things Chet likely will on this level. We saw it collegiately from him in terms of attempting from the help side to deter guys from scoring at the rim. Michael, at times you're going to get dunked on, but that fearless approach and willingness to put yourself on the line that way.
And that's also a necessity that a lot of teams need also, is having that rim protector, but the guy that can also, bring that offense as well too. Another guy that can bring some offense and some defense is Lou Gaines-Dort. He is in the house, folks.
Sir.
Hey, Lou, welcome back, man. And,
Thank you.
Tell us about your summer, especially with Team Canada.
Yeah, it's been great. I spent most of the time back home in Montreal, and I got to experience to go to the World Cup with Team Canada, which was really, really fun. And we got the bronze medal. It was a good experience.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Lou, it's been so fun to watch your development over these last couple of years, and I think that you've been such a trailblazer for this team and this organization. You're one of 9 players who's either undrafted or drafted in the second round. I think that you're an example of this organization in development. Do you take a lot of pride in that with all of these younger guys who are essentially trying to follow in your footsteps to establish themselves in the NBA the way that you have?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know my path and my role wasn't easy, but that's first thing. I give a lot of love to the Thunder for trusting me at first, and but it's been a really tough process and to be where I'm at today. So, I mean, if I can tell my story to some of the new guys that comes in, I mean, it'll be great. But just got to tell them it's not an easy path, and then you got to work hard to really establish themselves.
Any advice you can give to young guys? Because there's another Lou Dort somewhere in high school or college. Any advice you can give to a guy?
I mean, my first thing for me was always to compete and play hard, and then that took me a long way from high school, college to here in the NBA. So that was my number one thing. Wherever I face or wherever I play, I always got to compete and play hard.
Hard work pays off.
It does.
You're going back to Montreal with a game virtually in your honor next Thursday up there against the Detroit Pistons. Just, I'm guessing, a lot of anticipation. You got training camp between now and then, but what's the level of excitement for you to
that'll
go
be
home?
great. I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, I haven't played back home in a long time, and just to be able to go back in front of some of my friends and family that never got to see me play in the NBA yet, so that'll be great. I mean, and Montreal is such a beautiful city, so I'm glad that the whole staff gets to go over there and experience that.
Wait, so what do we need to look out for? Because we're going to Montreal too, and I don't think any of you guys have been there. No. I certainly haven't been there, so we need some Montreal
first
advice.
Of all, everybody needs to learn French. That's
Step one.
Babble. That's babble here.
But no, it's just a great city. Hopefully, I mean, I think we're staying downtown, so you guys gonna see a lot of good restaurants, a lot of places to see. There's a lot of history there back in Montreal, so you guys gonna have a good time.
Lou, I wanted to ask you just kind of, you talked at the end of last year about the season that you had and some of the things that you wanted to adjust and improve upon and develop going into this year. Kind of as the rosters change, some new pieces coming in, a guy like Chet that kind of alters the dynamic on the floor. What kind of adjustments are you going to make in the way that you play, maybe offensively specifically?
My thing, I feel like it would be the same for me. I always bring a lot of intensity, be like one of the glue guys on the court, you know what I mean? And first off, defensively, giving my all like I always do every game. That's how I made my name in this league. And I mean, offensively, just playing into the game. Let the game come to me. And Chet is a big piece that we adding to our roster. So I'm looking forward to play with him. But at the same time, it's the whole team. The whole team has done some good improvement. I heard a lot of stuff from the guys that was here during the summer. So I'm really looking forward to play with everybody.
Lou, you had some big moments last year, and one that really stands out to me is that sort of that last second stop against Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clippers.
Yeah.
Do you look back on those moments going into a new season, and do they give you confidence knowing that, hey, look, I've done this before, and I can lock up a guy like Kawhi Leonard when the game is on the line?
Yeah, that's something that stays with me. I mean, it's been with me since I stepped a foot on the course. I've been in the NBA. So this is what I bring to a team, and I know I can do that night in, night out. So it's something that I always do, and then the confidence it's already in me. So like going against anybody, I'm already ready to go.
So how hard is it to play defense in the NBA night-to-night basis, where a lot of times the rules are not in favor of the defensive player?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
But you manage to stay on the floor, stay out of foul trouble. That's an art for such a young player.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's definitely tough, but you know what I mean. When when I get ready for that, those type of moments, and I get love, I get cherish, and this is what I bring to this team. So it's something that I'm really prepared of. Watching film and then getting ready for every opponent, but it's definitely not easy.
Well, you do it really well, and you should have been all defensive team. All right, I'm just saying it, man. Yeah. I said it, but I've been waiting to say it since last year. There's no way you shouldn't have been on there, man. Good job.
I don't know how
though.
you're unscreenable, but you're unscreenable.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, Lou, thank you so much. Good luck this season, and have a great time in the homecoming going back to Montreal. I know we are. We're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Lou.
I'll see y'all.
Well, it has just been incredible watching Lou Dort and his development over the last couple of years, particularly on the defensive end, because he's so special. He's got this incredible skill set, those quick feet, plus the physicality that Mark Daigneault talks about so much. And, Matt, I thought you brought up a good point. And, Michael, you did too. It is hard playing defense in the NBA in 2023.
And you and I, we call the games. And I know you guys, Matt, you call games. Royce, you're watching a lot of games, and you've seen the defense just doesn't get a break. And to see a guy like him who can literally stay out of foul trouble, but yet and still maintain his physicality on the court, that's tough to do in the modern day NBA.
Well, I remember the play you were talking about with Kawhi.
Yeah.
Isolated, center of the floor. Like, you're going to get screened. Lou wouldn't allow himself to get screened. There were two or three guys that
three
came in.
times they tried, Matt.
Tried to screen him, and he was having none of it. He stuck with Kawhi. He had a similar sequence against Jamal Murray late in the game in Denver to preserve a win as well. Yeah. I mean, I remember Billy Donovan, his first training camp, saying he's an elite defender. And Billy is not prone to hyperbole. Yeah. So when he said that, I really took notice. And coming out of college to be an elite defender the way Lou was, and to recognize now that's where his bread's buttered. So yes, he's adding offensively, but defensively, he's truly among the best in the game.
And when he does get screened, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be an offensive foul.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about Lou Dort that has always just impressed me so much, guys, is that he just guards people with his chest. He moves his feet, I think, as well as anybody in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons you talked about it, the foul trouble issue. That's why he doesn't really get in foul trouble, is he doesn't guard people with his hands. So many defensive players rely upon that of using their hands to control ball handlers. Lou Dort does it with his chest.
All right, our next guest here is a new member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. His first year, new acquisition over the offseason, Davis Bertans. Welcome to Oklahoma City. Welcome to the Thunder. What are your early impressions so far of this team and this organization?
Yeah, I've been here 2 weeks only.
Yeah.
Jumped in a little bit of some 5-on-5 one time. Definitely a young group, you know. I don't feel, you know, it's going to take some time to get used to that I'm the oldest guy right now, which, you know.
Don't worry, you're still a young guy, though.
Yeah, at 30, it feels weird to say I'm the oldest
right?
one, but yeah, definitely a young group, you know. Everybody's full of energy, you know. It's always been great vibes, and you can see that everybody wants to work hard, walk in the facility. So, you know, in a way, as old as I am right now, you know, it's good to be around younger guys and, you know, kind of energize myself as well.
Biggest challenge, I mean, with the way players are trying to guard three-point shooters like yourself, you're 6'9", 6'10", you're able to shoot over the top. When did you realize that's a serious weapon that you have, and it's really a rare thing in the NBA today, being that type of a shooter?
Well, I grew this tall late, kind of, you know, 15, 16, but before that, was always a shooter, but, you know,
They didn't throw you in the post when you were
hell
that tall?
no. No moves.
Why did I get thrown in the post?
No moves down there. You know, the touch gets better the further away from the basket. So, yeah, like that's always been the, you know, as soon as I grew taller than everybody else, that feeling that it just gets easier and easier to get the shot off definitely makes it easier. You know, not just for me. I feel like I can help spread the floor and open good looks for teammates, and especially the ones that try to get to the rim.
One of the things that's really impressive in watching you play in the, 8 seasons you've been in the NBA is the way seven seasons. This is the 8th. So the way you reposition yourself after you give the ball up, if that initial move isn't there, how does that come about for you, that feel for the game to get to a spot where when you catch the ball, you're ready to quick release it?
That's kind of natural, you know. Over the years, the more defense they're paying attention to me, you know, it was kind of easy the first years in San Antonio. You know, they just leave the young guy, young, tall, lanky dude out there, and you know, they learn very quickly and started running me off. So that's basically the way to, you know, find open looks, not just for myself. As I said, you know, that's my job, is to help as much as possible for the ball handlers to get easy looks, you know. And yeah, that repositioning, it just comes natural. You know, I got to find myself on the three-point line as much as I can. And yeah, once I get in there, I try to find an open spot, and you know, that's how I can get either open looks or get teammates open looks.
As an observer of the NBA and somebody who's watched you over those last 7 years, you've developed a little bit of a reputation because every time I see you with the ball, I assume you're going to shoot it, and I assume it's going in. Do you realize yourself that you are that kind of threat when you do have the ball in your hands as a three-point shooter?
Yeah, and since I'm not that big on driving to the basket, I guess, or not that good, I don't know. I still have to work on it a little bit. But, you know, teams are running me off, and that can just, you know, that one dribble kick out to somebody else, or, you know, sometimes just surprise everybody and go to the rim and mix in a dunk once in a while. You know, that just, as I say, opens up the game for everybody. You know, if I can get to the rim, then everybody else should be pretty open at that point.
Michael K. just looking at you right now saying, I wish I could shoot it like that.
Yeah, I do wish I could shoot it like that.
Don't we all?
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Thank you very much for your time, and good luck with Oklahoma City. We look forward to watching you play this year.
All right.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take that. Oh, they're getting a handshake. And there was no doubt about it. He can shoot it.
Yeah.
Well, there's another shooter, too, though.
There's another shooter. Ousmane Dieng, welcome, my man.
Thank you.
Year number 2. Last year, at this point, you probably felt like you were in a completely different world, just on another planet, having come over from France at a young age, not really knowing what to expect in the NBA. How much more comfortable are you now going into year 2, having last year under your belt, a little bit more familiarity with this team, the organization, and the NBA overall?
I felt more comfortable. Like, I had to see one full year, one full season, like the 82 games. It's a long season, so now I'm a little bit used to it, so I think it's going to be better.
What work have you put in this offseason specifically? Clearly, the physicality seems to be building for you, still very young, only 19. Where specifically have you focused your time and effort?
Physicality was a big point this summer. Keep working on my shot. I work with Chip on my shots, and on everything else, I feel like nobody's perfect, so I gotta work on everything. So, probably that.
Ooze, in summer league, you really started to build into having a lot of success as it went along. Looked like your confidence was really starting to come out, and you were playing a lot more aggressive. How can you translate that into the early season? Can you carry that summer league confidence into the season?
I hope I will be able to carry that. I just gotta focus every day on like working hard, like play with force, and just keep working every day and go day by day.
Well, what's the biggest challenge has been for you this summer? You're just trying to build off of last year, getting back to training camp right now. What's been the biggest challenge? Something's different, anything different than last summer or the summer just now we're talking about, as opposed to last summer?
I don't know, probably the summer is longer. So like we have like no games for like 3 months, so except the summer league. So probably that, like being focused every day. And like, keep working every day. That's just that.
We'll talk about Summer League. You were in Vegas. What do you think of that experience in helping you to get, to where you are today, prepared for training camp, getting ready for another NBA season?
I feel like it was a good experience. I wanted to play the Summer League. Like we didn't play for like 2 months, so every time I have the opportunity to play, I want to play. So I feel like that was a great experience for me, and it went well.
Well, I'll never forget that three-point shot you hit right before halftime of a game last season. You look like a cool hand Luke. We were all building you up, and I get excited, man, when I see you knock down those threes because, obviously you've taken advantage of a lot of opportunities to be called up, and that shot's on. We get excited, man. We're looking forward to having you,
Thank you.
Back again here, and once again, have a great training camp.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Ousmane Dieng, going into year number 2 with Oklahoma City. I think you saw a little bit of his game. What was one of the reasons why he was drafted as high as he was, because he's just so raw. He is a development project, and of course, going into year 2, we'll see what kind of progress he has made. Cason Wallace, one of the newest members of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and boy, what a summer it has been for you. You get drafted, you turn pro. Remember talking to you earlier this summer, I think back in June, right after you were drafted, and here you are entering your first NBA training camp. It has been a whirlwind of a summer. Where are you at mentally, and are you happy to be finally getting this season going?
I'm definitely ready to get the season going. Mentally, I'm just ready to get out there and enjoy this season with my guys.
Well, we saw you play in Summer League in the first game. You knocked down 6 threes. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on now. And then I'm watching you D
One from midcourt, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching you D up a guy full court in Summer League. Talk about the experience of being drafted and then getting to Las Vegas, playing in the Summer League. What a big challenge has all that been for you to get to where you are right now, facing your first NBA training camp?
It just, a lot going on right now. Just thanking God that I'm here and able to do what I'm doing right now. So being in Vegas was a great experience for me. Just getting out there and getting my feet wet, playing a few games, learning a few plays. So it was fun just seeing a little sneak peek of what the league would be like.
Cason, you're the latest in the long line of Kentucky backcourt players that made it to the NBA and been successful in the NBA. You've got one as a teammate here with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Just all the Kentucky guys and SGA. What's stuff that you can learn from them translating your game into the NBA?
I haven't really got to asking them questions yet, but I'm sure there's a lot of little pointers or, big things on and off the court that I can learn from them.
I know that you really earned a reputation in your one season collegiately defensively at Kentucky. Now that you're here and you see Lou Dort and you'll get a chance to watch him in his work ethic, what he brings game to game, you're looking forward to kind of picking his brain and learning some things from him, picking up what the challenge will be for you on this level?
Definitely. I mean, I played against him a few times, and, you know, his defense is real. Like, he's a big, strong guy. So, like, that's something that I'll be asking him about, how he go around screens or how he get up in the defenders.
Kaysen, is there somebody in the league that you are looking forward to facing as a rookie? Said, man, I've been watching that guy for my entire life. Now I'm finally going to get an opportunity either to go at him offensively or defend him on the defensive end. Is there somebody that you're really looking forward to going up against?
Not yet, really, because, like, I haven't really played against anybody. I just seen them all on TV, so I don't really know what to expect from them. But, like, after I play them a few times, then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go ahead. I want that challenge again, basically.
You're not far from home playing here. Richardson, Texas. Will you have your own section at Paycom Center this season of family and friends coming up to root you on?
Definitely the fan would be at a few games. So I'm excited for that, get them to a few games, and, you know, it'll be fun.
Well, Kaysen, it's been quite the summer for you. We know you've been through a lot. We wish you luck over this training camp. We wish you luck over the course of the season. We'll be talking to you a lot more, and good luck over the course of your rookie year.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
Kaysen Wallace,
Thank you,
lottery pick, and boy, he was so happy to get drafted. I remember on draft night, and then he came. We had the interview. We introduced him to the Oklahoma City media and the organization, and always a smile on his face. So we're looking forward to seeing him. We are here at Media Day 2023, the unofficial ribbon cutting of the 2023-2024 NBA season. So we thank you for being with us. We're in downtown Oklahoma City at the Convention Center as the long off season is officially over. And I know it was an off season for Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Welcome back. We're glad to see you again. Going into year three now.
Yes.
And I know last year was probably on the more difficult side for you, going through that ankle injury, kind of one of the more significant injuries that you've suffered in your career. So having gone through that and a little bit of adversity for the first time in your career, how has that prepared you now going into year three?
You know, I think it helped in a lot of different aspects, you know, just the mental toughness you have to go through with something unexpected, something you can't control. So I think there was a lot of ups and downs through that trial and tribulation. So I think it's helped put me in a position to where I can mentally be more prepared for anything to come this season. So it was tough, but I think it was great to watch our team have really a lot of success. And so I think it's just helping me propel into this season.
You were in Las Vegas as well. How was that experience in terms of helping that journey to get back to your third training camp here, playing out in Las Vegas?
It was great. I think it just adds a lot of confidence to the work you've put in. You know, you had a setback, but just being able to know that the work you're putting in is helping you be successful in what you're doing, it just keeps propelling confidence into your system.
Jerry, I'm curious that you're such a verbal player, excellent communicator on the floor. Did the confidence for you at all teeter last season, given the ankle injury, then when you came back, kind of working your way? And how has that maybe strengthened you as a player and as a person?
Yeah, I think all of us humans have those moments of where they might not believe in themselves just in those moments, but I think it's more about how you come out of those situations that really propels you and whatever you want out of it. So I think, yeah, of course there was times where I might have been down on myself, but I think no matter how I handled it, whether it was good or bad, I think it helps me put in the exact position I want to be today.
All right, JRE, I got a big hard-hitting question here for you. I know that you've taken on the responsibility of trying to recruit everybody to become a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You've been working on Josh Giddey. I know you've been working on...
We got Giddey.
Okay, I know you've been working on those international players who might not have an affiliation with an NFL team, but how's it going?
I mean, it's going great. I mean, it's hard not to pick the winners, you know. I think you have two choices. You have the Cowboys, you have Kansas City.
That's an easy choice,
I think we all know who we would rather pick, but, you know, I think, you know, it's going great.
And now you got to overcome Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
That's going to be
a lot of fans for Kansas City now, so I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. J-Rob, you know, one of the things that always sticks out to me every year that you come back, looks to me like you put on some muscle, you look like you're in incredible shape. You know, has that been a huge focus again for you this offseason?
Absolutely. You know, kind of like what happened at the end of the season. I just want to put myself in the best position going into this season. So, yeah, a lot of focus on physical health, mental health, just making sure I'm in my best form going into the year.
Well, you know, got a couple of seasons under your belt. What do you feel like the biggest challenge for you now? I mean, we've talked about, the injury and coming back from that. I'm not talking about that, but, you got knowledge of the game now. You were a starter from your rookie season. You had some terrific games in the last couple of seasons. I mean, what is JRE saying to himself? Look, this is what I need to do, independent of what the team will eventually work with you on. What do you feel you need to just kind of step up or just improve upon this season?
Yeah, so I have a model for myself, which is inspire greatness. So being able to implement that every single day, no matter if you're wanting to do it or you're not wanting to do it, big thing is discipline over motivation, because there's some days you're not going to be motivated to do what you want to do. But if you have those habits and that discipline to put in the work every single day, it'll lead you to success and the team success.
Well, I'm going to borrow that for the broadcast this season, so don't. I'll give you credit, though.
I appreciate it.
Just I'm going to remember that.
Discipline over motivation, Mike.
Yeah.
Exactly. J-Rob, we look forward to year number 3, and good luck staying healthy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, the biggest Chiefs fan on the Thunder. There is
sure.
no doubt about it. Well, they had a big win last night. Yeah. Hold it out. Thank you, J-Rob.
We got it last night. Yeah, we're good. Appreciate it.
Playing that 5 spot, and he really did go through probably his toughest season as a professional last year, missing some time and then kind of losing that spot in the rotation. And speaking of getting a spot in the rotation, here's Kenrich Williams coming in with a smile on his face. We would expect nothing less.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
How was your off season? I know you missed, what was it, the last 2 months of the season?
Maybe
the
like
last 2 months of the year?
Second half of the season, yeah.
I think February 28th, you injured that wrist, and the Thunder missed you. We missed you, but now you're back healthy. You're ready for training camp. Were you able to utilize that injury in any way to help get ready for this coming season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it taught me patience. Like I said, I had a surgery in college, 2015, and that was the last time I've had a serious injury like that. So it definitely taught me to be patient. This summer I rehabbed a lot. Stayed in the gym, and yeah, man, I'm just grateful to be back and be sitting here with you guys.
K-Rich, because of your injury, J-Will was able to catch you on the charge-taking list.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to have like a board in the locker room and be like, all right, who's going to win that this year?
Man, he talked to me about it, and I guess we should, because, it's a good competition. That's a good competition to have with a teammate. But nah, J-Will told me last year he was going to kind of catch me, and I was all for it, man. I would go ahead, man. Yeah, go ahead and catch me. And you better lead the league. That's what I told him. So
I think that the Thunder had 3 or 4 guys in the top 20 in the league. In charge taking. I mean, what is it about this group that just is willing to do that sort of thing?
Just what we preach every day, kind of the stuff that the coaches instill in us. Moment of truth is something that we call that. I'm not a shot blocker, so I have to sit there and take a charge for my moment of truth. Jay Will, he's not a big-time shot blocker, so you can see the same thing from him. So just something that the coaches instill in us, and pretty much trying to make a play on defense.
You've always been a guy that maybe has flown under the radar in terms of the national narrative, the national perspective. I'm curious, in your mind, in your heart, what has the boost in confidence been for you over time? Because now you bring a polish to what you do at both ends of the floor, and it's invaluable to this team.
Yeah, man, I think it was just kind of settling into the NBA. I say this all the time, man. Guys, sometimes they have a hard time in the NBA because they can't find a role. My first 2 years with New Orleans, I was kind of trying to figure out how can I stay in the league, what type of player am I going to be, what type of player can I be right now. And then once I got to Oklahoma City, in my 3rd year, it just kind of everything settled in for me, and I was able to play my game. We had some great coaches that kind of instilled some confidence in me, my teammates as well. So, and I mean, I give all the glory to God too. So,
Kenrich, you've earned the respect of your teammates. You've earned the respect of this organization, and it's kind of fascinating because you go back before you ever put a Thunder jersey on. You were sort of on the back end of a trade. You were kind of a throw-in to this organization. And now you've earned that respect in the locker room, and you've seen sort of this organization take steps forward. Yeah. What is your take on where this team is going now that you're kind of more of a veteran presence going into year number 4?
Yeah, man, it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. Just from being here from the jump, from the start of the rebuild, losing X amount of games, that does something to you as a player and as a coach as well. You know, we have the whole coaching staff back, but it does something to you. Kind of makes you hungry to want to win. And for me, the thing I love the most is that I'm able to just kind of build off those years pretty much, like, and seeing the success in not even my success, but the guys' success. Like Shay's last year had a great season. Dub came in and had a great season. Giddy, same thing. So it's more about like I'm seeing their success and it's making me happy. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a part of that, and I'm a part of this Thunder team, and I'm just looking forward to the season.
Kenrich, you talked about the experience in New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Coming to a new team, fourth season. How do you know? I'm gonna go along the lines of what you were talking about a couple of questions ago.
Yeah.
How do you translate that experience that you've gone through to the younger players on the team about your journey, and how you had to figure out what is it that I can stay in the league and do?
Yep.
How do you able to, in training camp, to get that message across to a lot of these young guys?
Man, that's a good question. That's something I hit the guys on, not even in training camp, just these past 4 weeks we've been here. Even last year, like, especially the guys who were struggling, like, or was going through a rough stretch. I'm able to be relatable to them. Like, yeah, I went through a rough stretch too. I'm in year 6 now, so I can talk to them and they're listening. You know what I mean? They're all ears, and that's the best part. Just being able to share what I went through, my journey with them, and kind of seeing them have success, and kind of build off what they've gone through already. So definitely great.
Well, Kenrich, we are glad that you are healthy and that you are ready for training camp and that you're going to be ready for this regular season, because I know the Thunder really missed you over the last month and a half, 2 months last season.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back. You know what I love on the radio side, in our pregame, we have each of the players introduce themselves by position. Kenrich introduces himself as positionless. Love that about him.
Yeah.
Selfless, the way he approaches the game.
As selfless and such a great example of perseverance. And we've got more perseverance here. Keontae Johnson, welcome to Oklahoma City. Welcome to the Thunder. We had your fellow draft classmate on just a couple of moments ago in Case and Wallace. You guys are coming into the NBA together, and I'm sure it's been a whirlwind summer for you as well. But entering your first training camp, entering your first NBA season, what's going through your mind?
Just trying to learn from all the guys that been here. I mean, this is my first year, so just trying to ask as much questions I can ask, and I'm just happy to be here, have this opportunity to play. So just enjoy the moment, really.
Kenrich talked a lot about, just being able to try to talk to young guys like yourself about his journey and how he got there. But there was a journey of how you got here as well, too. But now that you're here, how do you slow things down so you can just focus now on just training camp tomorrow?
I mean, for me, it's different. Like, this is my first year out of school as well, so I have more free time. So I'm more of trying to rest, make sure my body, health and everything is just up to date and just all fine. So going into training camp, I'll be 100%. Just getting the right treatment and just control what I can control and just take it day by day.
Tell you what, this you've learned. This organization is all about the present day, putting in the work and continuing to grind to a standard. But I've got to reflect back on your NCAA tournament with Kansas State, because you were inspirational in what you brought game to game. And I'm curious, you beat Kentucky with Case and Wallace in the tournament.
Yes,
Has there been any jibber jabber going on about that since?
We talked about it probably like 2 or 3 times. So we'll bring it up here and there. Yeah. But I mean, Casey, he killed us that game too as well. So we both had a positive intake on that, I guess.
Keontae, one of the things we saw from you in Summer League was kind of your smart off-ball cutting, a lot of them off the corner, finding lobs there. And that's something this Thunder team does really well, is off-ball movement, off-ball cutting. Is that something that you've picked up on since joining the team, or is that something you've always had a knack for?
It's just something picked up too as well. Like, I watched a film on the guys, and something that's part of my game. When I was at Florida, I had to play a lot of off ball, so my way of scoring was me cutting, trying to rebound. So I just feel like just carrying that over to Kansas State and to the Thunder is going to help me out. I know I'm not going to come in right as a scorer, just trying to find my right role and just do what I can do to stay on the court.
It was interesting because just a couple of moments ago you said, you're out of school and you got more time and more basketball. That sounds like anybody who's been in college's dream to be able to, hey, I'm done with my schoolwork. I'm ready to go to the gym.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like, it's still new to me. Like every day, when we get down to practice, I go home and then I'm thinking I gotta wait for my phone to see if I got homework, but I don't. So I just be sitting it. Then just I'm definitely enjoying it as much as I can, though.
You watching you in Las Vegas. Talk a little bit about that experience, because I'll be honest, you just look comfortable from the minute your very first game, first minute, second minute, didn't matter. It seemed like you were very comfortable out there on the floor, which is unusual for a young player.
I mean, my biggest thing is my parents and my close friends always tell me just be consistent. So I just try to be consistent in the things that I'm good at, that I know I can do. So rebounding, just cutting, just trying to play defense. This is what I did. That's what I try to do, is just carry that over throughout every game and just let the game take care of itself and just take it day by day. If you try to think ahead and try to do everything, you're going to end up playing bad or you're going to be overthinking it. So I just try to play relaxed out there. Like I said, I'm just grateful to be out there, so just have fun with it, really.
Keontae, it seems like you have a knack for getting loose balls.
Yes,
and there are times you're undersized, given your matchup. Where does that come from, that ability to get in position to go get the ball off the backboard?
It's just, when I was younger, I had played the 5, and I was the biggest on the team, so it was just extra reps on just getting the rebounds, just knowing how to get rebounds on bigger guys, and sometimes guys don't box out, so you can just sneak in and get one. So it's just knowing when to cut and just knowing the instinct of the game.
Keontae, you fall on a long list of guys on a two-way contract for Oklahoma City, and there's a lot of guys who have had success in getting guaranteed contracts. Do you look up to them, or do you talk to them and look for advice as to how they were able to sort of carve out a role, carve out playing time, and carve out meaningful minutes?
Actually, I always I talked to Wiggs probably a week and a half ago. We was in the ice tub. And I just asked him how his journey was, how did he enjoy it and everything. He was telling me. Then I actually just talked to Dort today. I was just asking. This was my first time he'd been here, so just asking him, just getting a little feedback and seeing how did he go with it mentally. And so I ask him questions, just trying to learn from the guys. I'm not going to be the type to be hold back. I want to be on the team just like they want to be on the team. So just trying to do everything I can to be there.
You're certainly not the first guy to go through this experience in trying to earn his way onto an NBA roster. So good luck.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy training camp, and good luck going into your first NBA season.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks, Keontae.
Thanks, Keontae.
And so he certainly joins a long list of guys, and that's something that this Thunder organization really prides itself on, giving an opportunity, obviously second-round pick. And he's going to have a chance to carve out a role for himself.
He's a lot bigger, man, up front.
He's a big guy.
I saw him in Las Vegas. I was in the stands because I wasn't working. I was enjoying it, but, man, that dude got muscles, man.
He's a 50th pick, and the Thunder just love the DNA he seems to bring to the floor. It exemplifies what this organization stands for, and you sense his presence. Yeah. He's got a physicality about himself, a toughness. That's going to translate, I think, on this level.
And a guy that comes in with, he's role-minded, you know, and that's something Kenrich Williams just talked about. Of already Keontae Johnson, you can tell that he understands that if I'm going to be a good player in this league, if I'm going to make things happen and I'm going to last, I've got to find my role and I've got to find my job of what I can do. And having that mindset early on, I think makes him a great fit for this organization.
Yeah. He said something natural. He said, look, I'm willing to, put in the work. I want to go to work. You talked about it, Matt, that how he chases down loose balls. He's got a knack for it. I mean, that's really a powerful weapon going into training camp for him.
Well, you got to work to be on this roster. You got to work to get some playing time. And Keontae Johnson working his way down the corridor of Thunder Media Day. It's a long walk. There's a lot of stations. There's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of obligations for him going through his first Thunder Media Day. You see the promos. They got to go over and talk to the radio guys, get some interviews in. They're talking to us. They got to take pictures for marketing, sign some autographs for promos. And, of course, if you want to come out and see this young Thunder team, Boy, the season is coming up. Training camp starts tomorrow. You can always get single game tickets. OKCThunder.com/buy tickets. Never expected, always exhilarating. We saw this young Thunder team make strides over the course of last season. They really play a fun brand of basketball. And part of that fun brand of basketball is Lindy Waters, because Lindy Waters, he was a two-way player. He's a two-way player again coming into this year. And Lindy, we always talk about it. You can stroke it. And we love watching your jump shot, but coming into this season, having a little bit of experience under your belt in working with this organization and working with this team and your teammates, how do you feel coming into this year?
First off, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Very thankful for everything that they've given me. My focus is just to help the team. That's been my focus since day one. Come in and give them whatever I have, whether that's shooting or trying to provide a spark off the bench. Just continue to do that, continue to be aggressive, and try to leave my footprint.
Lindy, one of the things I think back to last year and talking to some of the assistant coaches, it was kind of amazing watching some of the games late in the year, and you're out there in like meaningful minutes, meaningful rotation time. It was kind of like, can you believe Lindy Waters is out there playing these minutes? Did you even yourself sometimes think like, man, I can't believe I've earned this spot to be in these big moments when it really matters for my team?
I think, once the season concluded, I was able to look back on that. But in the moment, I just tried to focus on what I needed to do. Try not to let, things get to my head of where I'm at, and just be exactly where my feet are and take advantage of every opportunity that I get.
Lindy, I know this organization values versatility, and for you, although the calling card might be the three-point stroke, it's fun, it's pure to watch you do your thing that way. How important is it for you to contribute in all the aspects, and how conscious are you of that?
It's very important. I see basketball is starting, like you said, to be more versatile positions. Being able to be everywhere on the court, be able to switch defensively and be aggressive offensively, whether that's shooting or creating something for other teammates. That's really important, and I think that's where the style of play is going, not just for us, but for the entire league. So. Just coming in, watching film, and trying to get better.
That leads me to this question, Lindy, because last year at this time, your emphasis was, I've got to be a better defender and I got to be more efficient on offense. And for somebody who had to learn the Thunder system defensively, literally from scratch, coming in and having to pick it up quickly, what does it take to learn and to be a good defensive player on this Thunder team? We talk a lot about offense and shots and scoring and stuff like that, but to Matt's question, to kind of follow that up, what does it take to be a good defensive player in the Thunder system?
You got to be willing to sacrifice your body and yourself. You got to be, as you hear guys screaming in the back.
Communication?
Yeah, communication, a lot of talk. You got to be loud, you got to be aggressive, and you got to be willing to stick your nose in there for your teammates. That's what we're prided on is, individual defense on the ball, but you also know you got your four teammates in the back ready to help you out. So just being there and, watching film, learning rotations, learning small little things from guys throughout the league, and just paying attention to scouting reports is the biggest thing.
Lindy, talk about a little bit about your journey, because players come in the league so many different ways. Some are drafted, some are not drafted. Your journey has been different. What advice would you give a young Lindy Waters III that's out there right now as to how you got to where you are right now as an NBA player?
I put my faith in God from day one, and just kept working, not knowing what was in front of me, not knowing what door was going to open for me. So the advice I would give was just, don't try to put yourself in anybody else's shoes, because everybody lives a different life and everybody has a different path. So the only thing you can control is how hard you work, and just being a good person.
Well, your hard work has put you right here, my friend. So
thank you.
Your Native American heritage, you're from Oklahoma. You never lose sight of that, it doesn't seem, in terms of representing each of those specific areas and representing this organization. Can you talk a bit about that? Because that's always fascinating to me as to your motivation and how it connects to the entire state.
Yeah, my people are, the utmost important to me. And I try to give back in any which way possible, whether that's giving my time or giving resources to them. And knowing where I come from and how I grew up and seeing my family not have the same opportunities, it just makes me work harder.
makes me more grateful for the things I do have, and I'm just going to keep pressing on for them.
You've got your jersey hanging up in the First Americans Museum not far from here, which is pretty remarkable.
It is incredible. Yeah,
that's got to mean a lot to you.
It does. It really does. I actually had my little cousin send me a picture a couple of days ago. He was wearing my jersey, standing next to it, and it brought tears to my eyes because I know how much it means to him and how much it means to me.
Well, thank you, Lindy. I'm sure you're motivation to many around here, and good luck this year. And we look forward to watching you play.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
Lindy.
excited.
Thanks, Lindy.
Well, Lindy Waters said he's thankful for the opportunity, and he's got another opportunity here as a two-way player, and he has really had to work for everything over the course of his NBA career, which is not all that uncommon for guys on this Thunder team and this Thunder roster, but he continues to grind at it. He knows he's had to improve in certain areas defensively, being more efficient on the offensive end, and just being able to watch him continue to pursue that has been really impressive.
The point I want to make about him, guys, that strikes me is what we just talked about with him, absolutely. But he's 26. So when we talk about, like, what is a timeline for a guy that's a Thunder player, it doesn't necessarily fit, but what he brings to us as a person and as an athlete that continues to improve, and how he represents himself in recognition of the organization, the state, and his background. It's storybook, and it also is incredibly inspirational.
It goes back to something that Sam Presti said in his press conference 5 days ago. You draft people, then you develop professionals, and you explore their potential.
100%.
And he's a great example.
And it's just a remarkable story. I mean, we were talking about there are so many pathways to get to one of the hardest leagues to get into in the world, professional-wise, and he came in probably one of the most difficult way possible. So it speaks a lot for his character.
Who plays you in the movie, Lindy Waters III? Who's going to play you in that movie?
In that
That's
movie?
what I want you, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. Let me think about that one. Well, let me ask Olivier Sarr that. That's a tough question. Hey, Olivier, how you doing, man?
Good. And you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Welcome back. Training camp is around the corner.
Yeah.
You're looking great. Challenges that you see yourself facing. Starting this training camp tomorrow. I mean, this is your second tour of duty with the Thunder, and congratulations for that as well.
Thank you. I'm just excited to be back, excited to get with the team, get the chemistry going, play hard, and then just learn with each other and getting ready for the season.
Olivia,
go ahead, Chris.
What keeps you going? I mean, you've had some starts and stops to your professional career. You've been with the Thunder, you've been cut, you've been with the Blazers, you've been cut, you're on a two-way deal. What keeps you going, and what keeps you motivated to keep continuing to pursue your dream in the NBA?
There's just no other way around. I don't even think about stuff like that, really. I just trying to stay present, stay in the moment. Blessed to be back in the NBA. I got a brother coming up, and that's really motivating me. And just for myself also, I'm a competitor. I want to show that I belong, and I actually want to contribute to a team and want to play hard for the Thunder.
Olivia, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, one of the approaches of this coaching staff is to really utilize the entire roster. And at any given night, any given guy can step up and have a big role and big impact. I remember the game in Los Angeles last year. You played huge minutes in that game. A lot of people may not have expected you to have such an impact in a big, important game for the Thunder. So how does that help you night to night to know that Mark Daignault and this staff could be calling my number and I got to be ready every single game?
I mean, that's great. That's great. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's what we work for. And I'm glad to be a part of an organization and a coaching staff that believes in me, that's going to utilize me when they feel like it, when they feel like I could contribute to the game, and that's really motivating.
The continuity for you in this system, with this organization, in the couple of years that have preceded this one, both with the Blue and with the Thunder, how valuable is that for you coming into your third pro season?
That's unbelievable, I think. I've been a part of a couple teams now, and the way we do it here with the Thunder and the Blue, it's just I don't know. They really care. We really care about whether you're with the Blue or with the Thunder, and they make you feel like they want you to get better. It doesn't matter what jersey you're putting on. They really want you to get better, and they're gonna contribute to your development as a player. So that's amazing.
Following up on Matt's question about continuity, how important has been able to go down to the G League and work with the OKC Blue been for your game and the familiarity? And what have you been able to work on precisely down there that has helped you translate that game at the NBA level?
dominating. You go back with the blue, you just want to help boost your confidence, play hard. Don't take games, reps off, games off, and it's the same way. Just stack days, stack games, whether it's with the blue, with the Thunder, practice, high-intensity workouts, and that's how I go about it.
What advice have you benefited the most from, say, a player on the team? You don't have to name a name. Like, what advice have they given you that's probably served you the most? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the Thunder player, because this is just your third season, but anything that's really kind of resonated with you, that's kind of helped you stay motivated and stay ready and playing the game on ready?
So many good advices.
Yeah.
I could say, like, opinions of others don't define who you truly are, Don't believe in the things that are not who you are, and keep hitting the rock every day. At some point, it's going to pay off, but don't change who you are for whether it's a good game or a bad game, or just keep climbing the steps.
All right, Olivier.
Good stuff.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck in training camp. Good luck going into this season.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. As Olivier saw, he has had to work his way through his young NBA career, multiple organizations, multiple times being cut, trying to find a role, trying to find some playing time here with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Love his motor.
Yeah.
He brings a motor, he brings energy, and it's infectious when he's on the floor. And you got to love that about what he brings night to night.
Well, he's also got a pretty well-rounded game, and I think the league is starting to recognize that. He has the ability to shoot the three. He's a terrific shot blocker, rebounder. You got to remember, man, he's still a young player, still learning, developing. He couldn't have landed in a better place on his feet, where the Thunder do such a good job of developing its young talent, and one of those persons who's at the helm of that is Mark Dagenham and helping develop that young talent.
Comfortable as ever. Didn't even have to handle the microphone. He knew exactly what his job was.
I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
I'll ask the questions too.
All right, what do you got?
How
for
was
us?
your summer?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
No. How was your summer? Where's the best place you went this summer? Go.
Croatia and Italy.
Okay. Croatia and Italy.
Oh man,
Pinto, what's your answer? Stillwater?
I've never been to Gulf Shores, Alabama. I was there for a baseball tournament. We had a great time.
Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Yeah, Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Okay.
Yep.
Royce?
Disneyland.
Disneyland with the kiddos.
Oh yeah, nothing
Awesome.
better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cage?
San Diego, man. San Diego, California. Been there many times. San Diego State University happens to be there, too. There's more than just Kawhi Leonard who played there. But, yeah, I went back there.
Hey, Mark, it's always about going home.
I love it. 75 and sunny in San Diego?
Yeah, maybe 70,
like that.
maybe 74 and sunny.
Yeah, chilly.
Yeah.
Chilly day in San Diego.
All right, enough deflection, enough about the kids. The last time we talked to you, I believe, was April 14th. Actually, you probably talked to Mark on the last day of the season.
This is Thunder basketball, right?
It's Thunder basketball.
I
but
always send it up.
we didn't get a chance to talk to you on exit interviews because you had your second child. Are you surviving?
Yeah, doing
Now with
well.
number 2? Are you
and
hanging in there?
The goal is to have a kid every exit interview, so I never have to face. That's the strategy. I haven't told Ashley yet, but
Working so far.
Yeah. No, it was great. We get 2 under 2 right now, so we're chasing that around and doing the best we can. It's highly imperfect, and but it's obviously a joy. So
It's just
we're
like
having
a basketball
great time.
game.
Yeah.
Highly imperfect.
Other
Don't know
than
what
the
to
joy
expect.
part.
Yeah.
To get to camp, 14 by my count of the 21 that are on the roster have some continuity in the system here. How valuable is that as you come back in picking up off of a team a season ago that really showed stark improvement, won 40 games, and I know it's not a carryover thing. It's about hard work, recognizing it's a zero mentality right now. But I'm just curious from a continuity standpoint.
The continuity helps, and I thought it helped last year, at this time. I thought having guys that kind of not only know what's going on, but trust it, that have seen it work and seen the power of, I'm not talking about anything magical, the fundamentals that we emphasize at the onset of camp. The guys that have been here have context behind that, and there's a sense of purpose to what we're doing and how we do it. And it has a contagious effect to the new guys that come in, whether they're coming from other rosters or whether they're drafted players. So It's certainly something we don't take for granted, but something we enjoy. It's helpful, and it helps speed up the process of, like I said, not only understanding what's going on, but understanding why and believing in the purpose of it.
Mark, I think a lot of people look at last season and kind of see that as like a breakthrough year for this young group. But really, those things were laid out in the seasons before that. I know that's something Sam's talked a lot about. Were there any moments in those years where maybe the wins and the outcomes weren't so favorable that you could see like it coming? Like you could see something coming along because of what was taking place in those seasons?
Yeah, I thought that was always the case. And the things that, there's many of them, in each season. The things that stand out the most were, in my first 2 years, times in the game, where you're down by an amount of points that you're not going to come back from, and yet the team is still playing to an identity and competing. That was certainly encouraging. And then stretches of the season where we weren't getting the outcomes, and naturally you're discouraged when that's the case, but the team did not drift, especially competitively. They continue to compete. And I thought that set a really high bar competition-wise and also togetherness. And like last year even, I thought there was a stretch in December, I think it was, we lost 5 in a row. And we broke the streak with a win against Memphis with
no Shea, no Josh.
Yeah,
right?
those guys are both out. But the 2 games prior to that were really close losses, and we were banging the door down, and we didn't get the outcomes. But there was just like a good fortitude inside the group, and I think that's been here from the minute these guys have gotten here. We've certainly tried to water that, but they deserve a lot of credit for it.
Well, I had a non-basketball question, if you don't mind. How many times have you seen the boss this offseason?
I saw him in Tulsa during All-Star break, which was great timing. And then I went up to see him in New England at Gillette, which I've seen him there before.
Perfect.
I saw him. It was a quick little hit because I've got these kids, and so I just shot up there.
Get away.
I told Ash I was going to Trader Joe's, and then I came back 2 days later.
Perfect. It's better to watch him than the Patriots at Gillette these days.
Oh, come on now. A little rough. Rough.
No, not okay? No. Mark, over the last couple of years, in hearing you talk as often as we do, you talk about playing physical and you talk about style of play a lot. For the fans out there who want to know more about the style of play, how would you define that for this young Thunder team?
Well, I think, the style kind of takes on the fingerprint of the guys that are on the court at a particular time. And so I think we can play different styles at different times. I think the constant that needs to exist is competing together, which I talk about a lot. I certainly talk about a lot with the team. I think the team has attached well to that. And if you really think about the term, you got to compete, obviously, but you can't compete, just individually. You got to compete inside the group. It's got to be a collective, competitive spirit. And that's something that's been a positive mark of this particular group of guys. They've embraced that. But we have to continue to do that. The NBA is hard. It's a competitive league. There's a lot of ups and downs in the season. And we've got to solve problems with 5 guys on the court. And like I said, this team has a lot of reason to believe in that, and we've got to continue to do that.
All right, Mark, thank you so much.
Great seeing you guys.
I know you don't like the spotlight, but second in Coach of the Year balloting last year.
And congrats on your extension. We'd be remiss if we didn't.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very grateful. It's a responsibility I don't take lightly. So.
And 2 under 2 is
2
very
under.
brave.
It is very brave.
Very brave. That's a brave man right here.
Yeah. We're not going for 3 under 4. I can tell you that. We're going to take it's a recovery day in the Degnald house. So, all right, we'll see you.
Mark,
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
The always lively and entertaining Mark Dagnall. Boy, he's got his hands full going into year number 4 on and off the basketball court.
Yeah,
You
talk
guys
about
all have
young
kids,
talent.
right?
Young talent on the floor, young talent off the floor.
Yeah.
Good grief.
He's going to have some rough nights when you get back from those long road trips.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to have to stay up a little bit later. But preseason right around the corner for him. It's going to start, how about this, a week from today.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Monday at Paycom Center against Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, tickets available for that one. You can always get them, okcthunder.com/buy tickets, as Wembanyama is going to be making his NBA debut, as will Chad Holmgren. So not just that game, but then the Thunder are going to be going up to Montreal. That'll be on October 12th. That's a game that's going to be broadcast on Bally Sports. So that's one that's going to be on TV. The other 4 games, of course, will be on the Thunder mobile app. You can catch those all preseason. So 5 preseason games. Guys, what stands out to you?
I like Montreal because Lou Dort said he was going to pay for dinner. No, did he not say that?
Right?
Maybe I
That's
heard
what
it
I
wrong.
heard. I heard that too, Michael.
I'm with you.
Somebody roll back the tape. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. But I really think it's a really nice preseason schedule. It's not too heavy, but it also you're playing down in Charlotte. I like the fact that that's a 2-game trip for the Thunder, and then next Monday night here at Paycom against the number 1 overall draft
Yeah, that's
pick.
exciting.
That's got to be really exciting.
I mean, if you don't want to be in the building for that one, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, even though it's a preseason game, like that's the type of game you want to be at, just to get a look at the number 1 overall pick, and then obviously an introduction to this Thunder group and see what they're all about.
Detroit twice. Cade Cunningham coming back. I mean, he in his 1 season at Oklahoma State, certainly I thought wowed this state collegiately, and I think there's still a big following for him off of a season in which he got hurt very early. So I look for big things from him, and I think that matchup between 2 of the younger rising teams in the league twice in the preseason is going to be fun.
Yeah.
The international game obviously gets a lot of attention going up to Montreal. It's Lou Dort's hometown. It's going to be on TV, but we can't forget the fact that the Thunder have that annual tradition of going to Tulsa, which means a lot, and being able to go to BOK Center and playing in front of the fans in Tulsa, which once again the Thunder will be doing later in the preseason. I think that's the game against Detroit.
Yep.
Yeah, no, of course, Detroit. So
And we have a big fan base in Tulsa
Huge.
that comes to the Thunder games each
I know.
season. I run into a lot of them. I think it's terrific. I think it's great that the Thunder have a preseason game there every year. I know I look forward to going out there to the BOK Center and being able to greet the fans that support us from there, but with season ticket sales and so on.
I think it's really unusual, Michael, and you spent a lot of time in the NBA, but to have a state back a team the way this state backs the Thunder is, I think, unique, and it's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, it is. And, I think the fact, too, that the Thunder really reaches out to the community, and the community has embraced the Thunder through all their various organizations, community relations, you name it. And it's really turned into a wonderful relationship where you see a Thunder something almost at every storefront in any city you drive through in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it is the state of Oklahoma's team, and we are in the heart of Oklahoma right now, downtown OKC at the Convention Center, playing host to 2023 Thunder Media Day, officially step 1 in this long 7-month journey that these Thunder players are going to embark upon. And 82 games. It is going to be a long ride, and we are so happy to have you here with us on day number 1. And it is going to be a long season, and there's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs. One of the things that stands out, even though this team won 16 games over the year before last year, winning 40 overall, there's no guarantee that they're going to go 16-plus again this year. They got to start over. It's going to be 0-0. They didn't make the playoffs a season ago. They've got to continue that work ethic and the development that got them there to this point.
Well, the depth of the Western Conference has substantially risen in my mind. A lot of people talked about Portland falling by the wayside, trading Dame. They're going to be a really good team. I mean, given what they're assembling talent-wise. But I think that when we look back to the pivot this organization made 3 drafts ago now, it's been the diligence, it's been the commitment to a standard that's continued to sustain them to the point where we are right now, Michael. And I'm going to be really curious to see how this young team integrating Chet Holmgren attacks what's in front of them. And this is unique this season. They know of the 80 games they'll play. Could be 82, could be 83, depending on the in-season tournament results. But the approach is going to be, I think, very curious for this young ball club.
Well, I tell you one thing, being in the Western Conference, you're going to learn one thing. It's going to sharpen you. It's going to challenge you on a night-to-night basis. And I don't really think that, there's no real team that you can say, well, that team might be struggling this year. That team was Portland last year.
Yeah.
I don't think that Portland will be that team this year. Minnesota's going to be looking to step maybe deeper than that 8th seed they got last year. There's just no real, what I would call light nights in the Western Conference. And I think that's really good for a young team because you're going to learn that that's how you have to play. That's how you have to prepare yourself because you may not be playing against the NBA champion Denver Nuggets, but I tell you one thing, there's a lot of teams behind them thinking they can be NBA champions this year.
Yeah, and one of the things you mentioned it, Chris, is that last season's jump, not just in the wins, but in the net rating, was pretty historic in a lot of ways. I mean, it's an unusual jump to do that sort of thing. So you can't just put it down and just say, like, progress is linear. Here comes another one, and the team is, they're going to go to 65 wins. And that's not the way it works. And, to the point of it, the Western Conference is difficult. 1 through 15, all teams are good. Even the young teams, like you mentioned, Portland, whether it's Houston, they expect to be better. They expect to be competitive at least. So you do have to start over, and you've got to kind of rediscover your identity. And it's an 82 or 83 game process where you go through this whole thing. And the Thunder got to, refine those things of being a borderline top 10 defense. You've got to integrate some new players. SGA had an amazing breakthrough year, but that's not a given either. He's got to perform well. The young players got to take their steps up. So it's a process that starts all over. Expectations for the team, they are what they are, but the team themselves, they've got blinders onto that, and they're just looking towards that first game.
You know what I love, though, is during this summer, so many guys on this roster had international competition that sharpens them coming to training camp. Davos Bertans, who we've talked to with the Latvian national team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort with Team Canada, Josh Giddey with Team Australia, and even J-Dub and Chet playing for the select team out in Vegas against the U.S. FIBA World Cup team. I think that strengthens what it is they'll bring to camp, and I think that's a real positive for this unit.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that the success from last year is going to carry over. It's a brand new season. It's going to start fresh, 0-0. It starts in October, the month that we are in right now, and going into year number 3 here with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Tre Mann. Trey, is it weird going into your 3rd training camp already? Feeling like you just got here?
I wouldn't say it's weird. I'll just say it's crazy. Like I didn't think time would fly that fast. So.
And it's definitely been flying. Last year, at this time, you were coming in with a lot of confidence. You had a great off season. You felt like you were going to have a really big year. Suffered some injuries. Didn't quite work out that way. Did you feel like that adversity from last year has helped you prepare going into this year?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely put like another chip on my shoulder going into the off season, and I feel like that season, was best for me going into this year because it like I said, it put a chip on my shoulder, and once you go through adversity, I feel like it makes you stronger. So definitely feel stronger from it.
Trey, at this time last week, Sam Presti was addressing the media, mentioned you specifically by name, basically said you've taken up pretty much permanent residency at the Thunder Ion, the practice facility. What's that been like for you this offseason? How much work have you actually put in to hone your game?
I mean, that's just work added up over the years. I was the same way my rookie year, same way last summer. That's just who I am. That's just what I do. I just work, and that's something I believe in and I live by it.
Trey, we saw it this summer in Summer League. I mean, you were spectacular in it before you had to set out with an injury. What kind of went into that and the confidence that you gained, I'm sure, from how you performed in Salt Lake City and Las Vegas?
Yeah, I'll say just knowing, like I said, the season before kind of put that chip on my shoulder, and also it made me stronger, and it also made me think like to just go out and play, not worry about, how I'm playing, the stats, anything like that. Just go out and play my game, and that's kind of my whole mindset going into Summer League and going into this year.
Training camp opens up tomorrow, Trey. What does that mean to you? Like, what is your focus in training camp? Because this is not your first rodeo, so you got some experience behind you. How do you approach training camp now?
I'm super excited for it. I can't wait. I feel like it's when you've been through it a couple times, you kind of know what to expect. So just go out there and lead the best way I can, for the guys who haven't been there. And also just show that I'm about winning, like trying to win, trying to get better, trying to be the best team, best players that we can be this year.
You can get a shot off in a phone booth in terms of your elusiveness off the dribble. But I'm wondering, are there additional things you're bringing this season that you're excited to unveil for the fans and for your teammates?
I'll just say my, playmaking ability. I feel like being in the league for 2 years and, watching film, I've definitely learned a lot. I feel more, poised. So I'm excited to bring that. And also my catch and shoot is something that I've been working on this whole summer. So I'm excited to show that I've been working on that.
And don't forget about those hops. They catch me off guard.
Hey man, come on, man! I saw that one in Salt
don't
Lake
do
City.
that to us like
I
that.
saw Salt Lake City.
Where'd the
literally just
trampoline
watched
come
it.
from, Trey?
Yeah.
Come on now.
I'm not gonna lie, I surprised myself because I wasn't going into the games or summer league trying to go dunk on people.
Yeah,
It just happened.
I basically watch that dunk once a week just because it's fun to watch. That one was
You know
awesome.
what I'm going to say? That was nasty. Man.
I'll tell you this, that needs to be part of, that top 10 ESPN where they roll certain highlights to introduce a segment. They got to add that, Trey.
I hope.
You got to lobby for that. Come on.
Yeah, I hope so, but I doubt it.
Trey, I can generally anticipate what's happening over the course of a game and what might happen. I have not been able one time to anticipate you taking off from mid-key, maybe in a little bit further. But anyways.
I could tell you this. When I get my right foot down and my left foot behind it, I'm going to go up to the
taking off
dunk. Yeah, I'm going to try to
launch pad.
Taking flight.
Amazing is coming.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Have a good training camp, too.
Appreciate
Look forward to seeing you in the preseason.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Trey.
Thanks, Trey. Appreciate it.
Well, he wears number 23. I'll leave it there. All right. Boy, yeah, he wears number 23.
I mean, it is just
Reminiscent of
incredible bounce.
another guy.
Well, welcome, Misic. How you doing?
Vasilije Misic is here. How are you, sir?
Welcome.
Here, let's give you this so everybody can hear you now. There you go. You are here in Oklahoma City. How long have you been here? What's the overall feel? What's your overall opinion so far on the organization and the city here of Oklahoma City?
So far, so good, I would say. I've been here for 2 weeks. Also, I was during the summer here for some medical checks. So altogether, in America in general, I'm 3 weeks. That's my first experience in USA too.
Is it your first trip ever to the United States right here?
Yeah.
Wow. Is that something that you've been looking forward to?
I mean, definitely. Since I was drafted 2014, it's been a long time since I've been trying to reach the NBA, and I'm happy that I finally made it.
What are you most excited to have fans learn about you as a player?
Just a new challenge, I would say. Definitely, I never experienced something like this in terms of game of basketball. In Europe, it's different. Here, it's a lot about individual talent, which is definitely very high in our team. We still didn't start to play as a team. From this week, we have training camp, so I'll try to learn as fast as I can. But I would say just a new challenge as a professional player, because I've been playing for a long time there, and it was not easy decision for me to leave, because it was very nice over there too. But definitely something drives me on to reach here.
So back-to-back EuroLeague championships. I mean, basketball is basketball, so that's obviously something you love to play. You know how to play. How do you think that's prepared you for the NBA? I mean, I'm sure you've watched the NBA for a number of years, because we watch the EuroLeague, we watch leagues over there as well. How do you think that's prepared you for this moment?
To be honest, I don't know if it's going to prepare me specifically for NBA, but as you mentioned, basketball is basketball. I mean, I know that my basic stuffs were always dedication to the basketball. Nothing was given to me as well in Europe. I was playing for a team that in the previous years they were not so successful, so we all together as a team, we created that winner mentality, and along to that I was also very successful individually, so I kind of know what's important for me to work on, and I don't think I will prove something crazy here that I already didn't show, but I'm definitely ready to be a part of the team. I've been playing in different roles in my life and career, so here I'm ready to do many things necessary for the team. That's how I see myself currently here.
I don't know if you had much chance last season. I'm sure you were busy. There was obviously the time difference to watch the Thunder last year and some of the young players, but how familiar are you with some of their games, and how excited are you to play with guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey and Jalen Williams?
First of all, I think that team as a team is so talented. Really, in these 2 weeks that I spent here, I'm really surprised positively, of course, how much talent we have in the team. not only the guys that you mentioned, but also the others. And the competitiveness, even in the scrimmage games, or how you call pickup games, it was very high.
We call it church league. That's pickup game. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So even there was very, very intensive, and I saw so much talent. And I'm very excited to be next to these guys too. But I followed a little bit last year, and I saw that OKC really played unorthodox basketball in terms of some lineups and the way they defend, the way they attack the opponents. But I mean, individual quality of these guys that you mentioned is very, very high. I also witnessed that these days too. And I think generally the team will grow as a team, as individuals, so they will just be better and better.
The extended time you've played in Europe, there's a professionalism about the way you play. What I love in watching your highlights is the passion. Like, you get excitable. And where does that come from? And it's clear in watching you play, you have a genuine, deep love for the game.
This is also a little bit geographically, I would say too. Like as eastern as you go, it's very passionate. Starting from, let's say, our country, like a Balkan country, ex-Yugoslavia, like Croatia, Slovenia, Serbia, going down to Greece and Turkey, where I've been playing a lot. It's definitely very passionate. The Western countries are also passionate. I've played there too. In Žalgiris, it's a Lithuanian team, but it's different vibe. So, in general, sports is a passion, really, something that people use to express their feelings. It's not only to come with family and enjoy your time, but also to be completely yourself. And since I grew up in that kind of environment, for me, everything is kind of normal. I mean, we grew up in the places that there are like 22,000 people shouting your name or booing you. So it's very, very challengeable. But after a while, you get used to that. So it's, I think, something like a character.
Vasilije, you come to the United States from Serbia, and you join a long list of Serbian players now in the NBA. Of course, Nikola Jokic and even Aleksej Pokusevski on this team. What is it about Serbia and the game of basketball that has really taken over there, that has allowed the game to grow, and for players like you now to come over and join the NBA?
I think my story is a bit different because I'm coming quite late in terms of my age, but these guys that you mentioned, they really open up the road for everyone who is thinking about basketball in the NBA. And obviously Jokic is someone who is a unique example of everything, and I'm very lucky and happy that we were also teammates in the team in Serbia, and that improvement for me, it's really unbelievable. But of course, the way he represents our country, it's just an example for everyone else to do it the same way, and I believe me and Poku and the rest of the guys will do it as well.
Well, we welcome you to the United States. We welcome you to the Thunder. We welcome you to Oklahoma City, and good luck here finally joining the NBA.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Real quickly, we got to make sure we pronounce your name correctly. Give it to us so that we have
Vasilije.
it. Vasilije
Micic.
Micic.
Yes.
Got it. That's what I thought
Thank
it was.
you, guys.
I think we had it right. Yeah. We need that, right, Matt?
Absolutely. Have a good training.
We just got to make sure it's right.
Welcome. Thanks.
Welcome. Thank you. All right, Mike, you got it?
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Here's what jumps out at me: humility.
Yeah.
I mean, there are lots of reasons for him to have a bravado coming to the NBA.
He's an accomplished player.
Very accomplished.
Very established, but you don't sense that at all in how he communicates.
Well, I like what he talked about, how, he's just put in the work, man. Nothing special. He knows about the NBA game. He knows about his countrymen, Aleksej Pokusevski, Nikola Jokic, and the success they've had over here. And, he said, look, I'm ready now. And so it lets you know he has a tremendous amount of confidence.
Confidence and maturity. He's 29 years old. He was originally drafted all the way back in 2014. So he's coming over here, played professionally before. It's just not like he's an 18-year-old rookie entering a professional league for the first time. There is going to be a certain maturity to his game that I think that we're all looking forward to seeing over the course of the season. All right, Jack White, another international player. Down under. down in Australia.
We're taking over.
Clearly, between you and Canada, it seems like.
Yeah.
Australia and Canada really making the rounds here.
France, don't forget about France.
France,
Guzman,
that's true. Very, very true. Well,
Making a
welcome.
strong showing, France.
Yeah, don't forget about Serbia too, man.
Yeah.
International team.
A lot of international. We just need like when you go to the Olympics and there's like a flag for every country when you walk in.
UN of the
they need
NBA.
that at Paycom Center.
Yeah.
Anyways, welcome to Oklahoma City.
Appreciate
and
it.
With training camp right around the corner, what are you looking forward to?
Just looking forward to getting back and competing. I had World Cup stuff this summer, and sort of a few weeks between then and getting here and getting settled and everything like that. But really, just looking forward to getting stuck into it. Super excited for this year. Super excited for this group, and just ready to get going.
Jack, Australian basketball, as we look back over the years, there's a physicality that it seems like guys that are raised in that culture bring. Is that the same for you? Is that a big part of your game?
Yeah, I think so. I have great pride on being Australian and I guess, sort of trying to carry those traits that are often associated with Australian players, being tough, being hardworking, being a good teammate, being a good team player. Really trying to emulate those in my game and how I interact within a group. That's something I'm proud of, and that's something that I'll definitely want to continue to do throughout my career.
You had the opportunity to play with Josh Giddey, a teammate with the Australian team over FIBA. Now he's your teammate here with the Oklahoma City Thunder. What has he told you about this organization in terms of what to expect, whether it's off the court, on the court, just anything in terms of advice?
Yeah, I think the first thing that he mentioned to me was, I guess, sort of a testament to the culture and, just the quality of people that are around the organization, from players to staff to, fans within the community. It's just, they really love their basketball here and the organization in itself is just heading in a really positive direction, obviously being one win away from the playoffs last year and still being a super young group. Obviously, guys staying healthy is a big part of success and, super excited to see Chet come back this year. But, really that, he felt like I'd be able to fit in and sort of, be a seamless fit in terms of what I bring and, fit into the system offensively and defensively and, all the X's and O's and the rest of it. But, he had nothing but good things to say about OKC and the organization and, sort of the direction that the team's heading. And, I knew that coming in, but, I've known Josh a long time and, obviously to see him flourish in this sort of environment is, a super positive thing and, hopefully I can emulate similarly.
Jack, I think for a lot of people, they may not be completely familiar with your game here in Oklahoma City. How would you describe the things that you do well on the court?
I guess my best strength is sort of being a big 3-and-D guy on the wing and forward position, being able to rebound the ball really well for my size and position, but just being able to stretch the floor, being able to be a reliable individual and team defender, being a great communicator, a great culture guy, but really just trying to do all the simple things and the hardworking 1% of things that help teams win. I couldn't really care too much about my individual stats or anything like that. As long as I feel like I'm contributing to winning, that's sort of the most important thing to me. And, I'm super excited to try and showcase that here.
Member of the NBA champions a year ago with Denver. Played your college ball with Coach K at Duke. So you mentioned winning. That's like inbred, it seems like, in your basketball culture, right?
Yeah, and, all the experience that I've had leading up to this point, I was fortunate enough to win a championship in the NBL as well when I was playing in Australia. So, I've been super fortunate with the teams that I've found myself on and definitely want to continue to, just continue that, that winning form and, try and win as much as I can in my career.
So with all that winning and being a part of those championship teams, what's been one of the common denominators that you've noticed, whether it's been with Denver or whether it's been with Duke?
I think the biggest thing that is sort of consistent across, different teams and different levels is sort of having that camaraderie and that team culture to fall back on. I think last year at Denver, we just had a great bunch of guys. We had great vets, great young guys, obviously super talented players, but it's a long season. There's going to be ups and downs throughout 82 games, and if you have sort of that base, those relationships with your teammates, and just a great culture within a group, it's really good to be able to fall back on that when things aren't going well. And when things are going well, able to ride that wave and keep it at a high level. And obviously, it's easy to do that when things are good, when you're winning, but you really see what you're made of when you're going through a tough patch. And just my experience here so far, meeting all the guys, meeting the staff, was fortunate enough to meet everyone during the summer leagues back in July. So I'm not walking into a completely new space, but I definitely get that similar vibe from what I felt at Denver last year to although being a young group, we have great leadership. We have guys that are all in, all about winning. There's no egos coming into the gym. So yeah, just super excited to see how it all comes together.
Tell us a little bit. This is kind of a little bit offbeat question. At what age were you when you realized that I can play basketball and I want to take this further and get to where I am now? You talk a little bit about that journey.
I think for me, kind of around when I hit 13, 14, I sort of made the commitment to myself that I would really see how far I could take it. At that point, I was by no means the most talented. All I knew was that I loved the game and
Did
I wanted to pursue it.
you play any other sports?
Yeah, I played cricket, tennis, played Australian rules football up until I was 16 as well. But, through all that when I was a young kid, I always knew that I wanted to play basketball. I love the game.
And Australian rules football let you get away to the game of basketball.
They let me get away, Josh as well.
I'm a big fan of Australian rules football.
Oh, really? You know
about
it?
I love it.
Hey, not many people do. It's just the grand final on the weekend.
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, I know Josh would be happy about that because he's a Collingwood supporter.
I saw him at a game recently, too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's a big Collingwood supporter. They just won the grand final, actually, on Friday night our time. So, yeah, I'm sure he'd be over the moon. But yeah, played a bunch of sports, just always had that love for the game and, was fortunate enough to obviously grow and have some physical traits that helped in that endeavour. But yeah, it wasn't until I was kind of like 16, 17 when I went to the Australian Institute of Sport and, sort of started to get lucky with some college offers and things of that nature that I was like, oh, it's really happened, But yeah, obviously a lot of hard work, a lot of luck has gone into it, but yeah, it's just crazy how it's all panned out.
Well, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
And have a great training camp and welcome to Oklahoma City.
No, thank you. Stoked to be here.
All right.
Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, Jack White, his first year with Oklahoma City. He's been part of some winning teams. Won an NBL championship, been a part of Duke. And he, of course, is going to get a ring for winning a championship with the Denver Nuggets from a season ago, hoping to translate some of that winning success here with the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. Very well spoken. Very impressed by him.
Yeah, and we have a second Australian accent in the mix. Yeah. So Josh has a little competition there.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm for real, too. I watch Australian rules football, man. It is a beat-down sport.
Is that like rugby?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much like rugby. Yeah, I would say it's exactly like rugby. But I'm telling you, that's a tough sport. And I was watching a game a couple of nights ago, and there was Josh Giddey at the game. And I was like, wow, Josh is in the stands.
Well, you're right. I'm sure that the Australian Football League would like to have both of them because he's like 6'5" and built out. He's not a small human by any means.
That's right. He's got a basketball body, too, though. He could go either way. And he said, he played cricket. He played them all, man. Yeah. What a talented guy.
Well, he's going to be a part of this Thunder team that is looking at the schedule here coming up in October and November. The regular season gets going. Of course, we talked about the preseason, which starts a week from today on Monday. The regular season, it's going to start on the road in the Windy City, Chicago, October 25th against the Bulls. The Thunder will have a day off and then get ready for the Cleveland Cavaliers on the 27th. The in-season tournament, you see those gray highlights? That's a new layer that the NBA has instituted this year. Get ready for that. It is going to be interesting, and it starts on November 3rd against the Golden State Warriors at Paycom Center. That's the first of 4 games that are going to be the in-season tournament. It's going to be the inaugural in-season tournament for the NBA Cup. Of course, games at Sacramento, San Antonio, and at Minnesota. But November is going to be a loaded schedule. Season kicks off in October. Here we are. We're already in October.
One of the real anomalies you see the Golden State Warriors 3 times by the 18th of November. That's it, unless they're added in the in-season tournament scenario. So the Thunder will be complete with the Warriors by mid-November, which with Draymond Green likely missing some time might be an advantageous scenario for them.
Yeah, and it's always interesting when that happens, Matt, because you see this happen in schedules almost every single year where you don't play a team until it seems like, February or March, or you knock out your games early against them. And I remember, there's so many times you'll talk to an opposing coach and they'll be like, yeah, this is a different team we're playing now. Or like, you'll play one team in November and then you won't see them again until for 3 games in March and April. And it's like, the team we played back in November, it's different now. So it's weird how the schedule works out that way sometimes.
Well, I like that October 29th, that opening night against the defending NBA champions, Denver Nuggets. How about that?
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Different, like you talked about, the ever-changing landscape. I mean, that's a different team than the team that won the NBA championship back in the spring.
Yeah, they're going to be coming in with some confidence, too. And you get to play the Denver Nuggets 4 times. Going back to your point, Royce, about maybe you play a team 3 times in 1 month. Thunder didn't play the Utah Jazz or the Phoenix Suns until the end of the season last year after the All-Star break. It was like every game was against Utah or Phoenix for about 2 weeks.
And Phoenix looks slightly different after the All-Star break last year than they did the All-Star break.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that sort of thing can happen a lot in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you guys looking forward to the in-season tournament?
Yeah, I am, because I know that, a lot of thought went into that, and I think that any time the NBA implements anything as massive as of a change in the schedule as that, it's really got, a lot of people excited about that, because obviously it's something to play for within the season itself. And
I think the objective is, let's get more of a spotlight on this league before the standard Christmas Day, when fans begin to really pay attention. I think it likely will serve in that role at some point. I'm not sure it will happen this first season, but I love Dan Mahoney, our boss's comment on, to me, it should be called the Silver Cup, not the NBA Cup. It's Adam Silver's brainchild, and it's actually silver, the cup itself.
I think it's awesome personally. We talked about it before, Matt, that, for a lot of fans, they may be a little confused by it, don't quite understand why it's happening. Keep in mind, this is the first year of it. If you're ever going to establish something that has a tradition or a legacy, it has to start somewhere. And, even something just as simple as the play-in games, they were brand new a couple years ago, and they already kind of feel like part of the NBA season. And it's added an extra layer of excitement and intensity. So, the league is going to make adjustments to this. They're going to learn about it. They're going to see what works, what doesn't. But, in 20 years from now, we may be looking back on it and say, that is such an incredible tradition that the NBA has. A lot of people have tried to kind of compare it to the FA Cup or the League Cup in England. Those had to start somewhere too. Now they've got the tradition and the legacy built in, and they feel like a natural part of their season. Give this time, because this could be a big part of the NBA season, and 20, 30 years from now, it may be an institution in the NBA.
And I've got to believe back to David Stern's vision of globalizing the NBA, which has happened. We talked about the international flavor on this roster here in Oklahoma City. We're going to see European teams in this at some point. I'd almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
That would be quite the expansion, because they really do want to grow the game, and it's hard to envision the NBA without the play-in now.
Yeah.
After we've seen it over the last couple of years.
It's only been, 3 years?
It's been, over the last couple of years.
And we saw 2 number 10 seeds win last year, including the Thunder.
Well, and the Miami Heat went to the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a big part of the league now,
Well, it is going to be a different wrinkle. It's going to go from November basically till the beginning, mid-December, when they'll have the championship game in Las Vegas. 2 teams will end up playing 83 games, so we can get into more of those details
So what you're saying
as the season
now,
goes on.
with the in-season tournament, you got to hit the ground running.
Well, it puts more importance on the beginning of the season. We've seen viewership go up toward the tail end of the season, particularly after the All-Star break last year, because of what's at stake going into the play-in. Teams wanted to avoid that like crazy. They wanted no part of it. They wanted that secure seed 1 through 6, and it just added viewership. Now it puts a little bit more importance on the beginning of the season. How much are these teams going to care about it remains to be seen. That's what's going to be fascinating as we go over the group play. And, well, how much are these teams going to be gunning for it, I think is fascinating.
Yeah.
It will be, and I think the Thunder's approach won't change. We recognize that. They will take every day, every game as an opportunity to continue to grow. And for a young team that is hungry, some believe that will be some additional enticement to have this team really show out. And I think they're going to really embrace every opportunity they have on national stages that are being presented to them this season based on how they're rising, the youth on the roster, the exciting talent on this roster. And I think it's another layer for fans to look forward to.
Media Day continues here from downtown Oklahoma City inside the convention center. We still have a handful of players who we have not talked to yet as the players continue to make their way around all the various stations, all the promo opportunities, marketing, pictures, pregame video hype, interviews and whatnot. So we're hoping to finish out the sort of the final batch here as we are inside this, what feels like an airplane hangar, but going back to something that you guys were talking about, and we've seen it with this team now over the last couple of years, is just sort of the competitive environment. They're a young group. There is no doubt about it. They've been one of the youngest teams in NBA history over the last couple of years. They're growing together. They've had successes together. They've had struggles together. And it's a close-knit team, but within that close-knit team, there's a lot of competition for very few spots. There's a lot of guys who certainly we think are going to be on this Thunder team, but there is going to be a lot of competition for minutes, and guys are going to have to earn it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
Man, that's where it should be. I mean, that's what training camp is all about. That's what getting better is all about. When I was a young player, from years 1 through 10, it was like that. When I got to year 10, I realized, okay, you know what, nothing's going to really change too much. People know what I can do. Teams know what I can do. They know what I bring to the table. But up until that point, you're basically trying to show that, look, this is what I'm capable of. I'm very reliable. And players get to know you. You get to know players from other teams. It becomes, a team growth thing. When you understand the concept of team at that point in time, in years 5 and under, where there's a messaging, there's a purpose, where there's a direction that everyone's trying to swim in, it really helps your development along, because you can't go anywhere without the team.
Well, and Sam Presti talked about reestablishing a baseline with this group. Last season, that was part of the thought going into the season. They really bought into an identity, built an identity, offensively 5th in the league in scoring. They were high octane, 3rd in pace, defensively very disruptive, got out and generated points from their defense, which I know they're excited about the integration of Chet Holmgren, his shot blocking prowess and rim protection to that. But I'll be real curious to see what is the re-identification of what this team will be about. Will it be similar systematically to what we saw a season ago, or will this team add some wrinkles?
Yeah, because, if you look back to last year, one of the identities that they really kind of discovered, somewhat by necessity of just the way the roster was constructed, was small ball. And, playing Kenrich Williams a lot. I mean, he started a lot of games at the 5 before his injury. Jalen Williams and Jay Will just kind of slotted into those sorts of spots as well as the season went along. But, when you do add in a player like a Chet Holmgren, one of the things I talked to Chet during the last couple of weeks is now the team has a lob option. And they didn't really have that sort of player, and that takes some adjustment there. Players like SGA and Josh Giddey, J-Dub, the primary ball handlers, now they're going to be looking up top for a guy rather than trying to slip a bounce pass. So those sorts of, it's like you're playing within the same identity, but there's, a little different rhythm that you got to take on with the different combinations of players that will slot into those spots.
And there's still so much we don't know. So much still that we need to learn about this team, because they are so undefined. They are still so young, and there's so much development that still goes on. We've come familiar with guys like Josh Giddey because he's played a couple of years, guys like SGA because he's played 4 years. We think that we know their games and we're familiar with them, but the fact of the matter is they're still very much in the early stages of their career with a lot of room to grow. Mm-hmm. Their games are undefined. This team is undefined, and that's stuff that you just have to learn as the season goes on. We've learned plenty over the last couple of years, but not all of it.
And that's what training camp is all about, too. It's you're playing and it slows down. Your practice, you're slowing down. You get to know each other, and right now, here's a guy who's going to tell us about the heartbeat of the team, Josh Giddey. Josh, welcome to our stream here, and right off the bat, man, talk about your experience with the Australian national team this summer, and what that was all about, and how it really just helped your game.
Yeah, it was awesome. As a kid from Australia, the pinnacle of basketball is representing your country at Olympic Games or a World Cup, and for me, that's all I wanted to do growing up, and I was fortunate enough to put on the green and gold for the first time, and it's everything you can imagine, having the support of the whole country behind you, and you feel that from across the world. And obviously things didn't go the way we wanted them to. We didn't finish. We had gold medal aspirations, and obviously that didn't come true. But it was a great learning experience for myself. I had to take on a pretty big, role and responsibility with the team, and those pressures and those type of situations are something that I embrace and take on. So great learning experience, and thankfully the Olympics is 9 months away, and we get to have another crack at finishing on the podium.
Yeah, you qualified for the Olympics.
Yeah, so thankfully we don't have to go through any of that, and we're good to go.
Josh, you talked about you took on a big mantle of leadership with that team at the young age that you are, and the aggressiveness in your offensive game was stark in terms of the difference from a season ago. How will you integrate that with the Thunder this season in terms of maybe getting to the basket more, and maybe ultimately getting to the free throw line more?
Exactly that. I think they were two big, points of emphasis going into the World Cup for me. I wanted to make a heavy emphasis on, putting pressure on the refs to blow the whistle and get me foul calls and get to the free throw line. And my first 2 years, that was something I struggled with was getting to the line a lot. And I think I settled for a lot of floaters and a lot of short shots in that mid-range area. As opposed to getting all the way to the rim and forcing the ref to make a call. And that's something that this year I'll put an emphasis on is not settling for floaters and for mid-range, shots and getting to the rim. So getting to the free throw line is something I need to get better at, and something I spent a bit of time on at the World Cup trying to improve on.
Well, along those same lines, there's not too many 6'8" ball handlers with the skill set that you have. How much have you found in your first 2 years and now going into year number 3 that has been an advantage? And how do you continue to use that as an advantage and not just getting to the free throw line, but finding certain matchups?
Yeah, I mean, that was something that me and Mike Wilkes, one of our coaches, we spent a lot of time on. I think sometimes I underestimate my size, and that's what I'm letting teams off the hook by shooting these little mid-range shots, opposed to using my size and strength and getting all the way to the rim. And that's something I want to put a heavy emphasis on. And I think it helps matchup wise. Obviously, as a bigger guard, you can see things a little better than the average size guard, and I'm able to make a few extra passes, but. Putting myself in positions where my height and my size can be an advantage to the team is something that we're getting good at, and coaches putting me in those positions to exploit teams. So it is something I put an emphasis on, and trying to use my size to hurt teams.
Josh, have you been practicing throwing alley-oops much this summer?
We had a practice not long ago, and we were playing pickup, and I remember the first lob I threw to Chet, I threw it right off the backboard and it bounced right back to me. And I haven't had a lot of practice throwing lobs the last 2 years, but we spoke about it, and I said to him right after that, I said, I need to learn to throw them, because with a guy like that, it doesn't have to be on the money. You can throw it kind of anywhere in that vicinity, and he'll go take care of the rest. So something I need to work on, and hopefully, playing more games with him, we'll get better at that.
Sometimes they look cooler when you throw them worse, because they got to go up and they got to go a little higher to get them. So it's not a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your passing skill, though, has always been an identifiable trait about your game. What other areas, Josh, you've talked about being maybe more assertive, getting to the rim. Do you feel like Season 3 will reveal in the work you've put in?
Yeah, I think that getting to the free throw line is a big one. Shooting the ball is obviously a big emphasis for me that I wanted to improve on the offseason, but there's a lot of things. I mean, I'm 20 years old. There's so much of my game that needs to get better and improve, and some of that will come with time. Other stuff comes with putting the work in the offseason. So I'm excited. I mean, the offseason's been long. It's been tiring and tough, but that's all in preparation for another season. So I'm excited to hit the ground running. I know the rest of our guys have had great summers as well. So when training camp starts tomorrow, I know we're going to hit the ground running.
Josh, your court vision is pretty impressive for a young player. Anything you can put your finger on that says this is why I have such solid court vision at this stage of my career? I mean, especially being so young.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint it. I mean, I've always loved passing from an early age, and I think the offenses that my dad taught me from a young age that we used to run with my junior team, I think is a big part of why I can pass the way I do. We ran an offense that was very simple, but we added a lot of complex plays where it was a back cut or it was a slip, and I had to fit the ball through very small margins. And at that age, I used to turn the ball over all the time. But luckily, my dad gave me a lot of freedom. Oh my goodness! Sorry, we've got someone over here.
Here's one of the guys you passed it to.
So with our team, nice to meet you. I'm Jalen Williams.
Josh.
Nice to meet you. With our team, we have a lot of guys that do social media, TikToks, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah.
If you had to pick somebody on the team to say who's the best TikToker, who would you pick?
Well, it's not you. That's my first answer. I'd say myself. For TikTok, it might be myself.
That's very selfish.
YouTube might be J-Dub. He's got a good YouTube page. Trey Mann, Aaron Wiggins, Shea, Lou, Chet. Everyone's good on TikTok. So
everybody but
everyone but him is good on TikTok. So we got a pretty active social media team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's all you got more?
That's bad answer. Get out.
Oh, I'm done?
Yeah, Josh, you're good. You're good, man.
Josh, we got to establish the important stuff.
Yeah.
The competition within the it's the competition within the team.
Yeah.
Bragging rights, right?
Yeah, he just came
rights?
on the mic and lied to y'all.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see y'all.
It's been a long off season, and if you came in with anything other than a smile on your face, I would be concerned. But you're coming in with a smile on your face.
Yep, always.
Right?
Boom.
No. Yeah.
That's the only thing we're missing. We're looking forward to the next boom.
Yeah. I think I'm going to stick with it a little bit this season. We got a little bit that we're going to add in there. There's a couple of handshakes.
Really?
Hey,
but the boom's not going away, right?
It's not going away. Okay. Just a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of flavor to it. Yeah.
So the best rim protector below the rim in the NBA. I've got to get you off of your first season in the NBA, leading the league far and away, drawing charges, and how significant that is for you in learning defensively, moving into season number 2. And do we expect to see more of the same this season?
Yeah, of course. That's part of my game. So of course I'm gonna stick to doing that. Of course, I just want to go out there and do what I do. It's something I've been taught my whole life. Positional awareness, being in the right spots at the right time, and I face refs and coaches not wanting me to do it. So I know that not all calls are going to go my way, but of course I'm gonna stick to what I know.
Jay Will, one of the things that's interesting to me is there's a lot of differences between the college game and the NBA game. A lot of areas people wonder will translate into the NBA. It's something you did great at Arkansas, was drawing charges. Were you yourself a little bit surprised that it translated so well into the NBA?
Not at all. Not at all. I actually thought it was going to work better in the NBA because we have more opponents. So with college, you play a team one time, and they only play 12 other teams, so they know, like, with this team, this guy is going to take a charge. With the NBA, there's so many guys, so many different players, so many different teams. It's hard for them to lock in on this guy right here is going to take a charge. So I didn't think it wasn't going to work. So I kind of just did my thing and it ended up working.
Okay, so now let me follow up on that.
Yeah.
Now they know you, and now the book's out on you. So how do you keep doing it so well? Because you still did it in Summer League even.
I mean, regardless on if it's a charge or not, positional awareness is always going to be a thing. So it might not be a charge this year. It might just be a vertical, or it might just be me being there and them seeing me and them passing the ball away. So regardless of if it's a charge or not, it's still going to be a good defensive play.
That's kind of an interesting way to look at it, is like the deterrent element. And now the book is out on you, so now they're going to see you standing there and they're going to say, I'm going to get a charge if I challenge that guy. So now, like, that's going to kind of work the opposite way. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
We sort of knew that about you coming out of college. The one thing we didn't know was your ability, given the work you put in, to confidently shoot the corner three. That became a significant part of what this team did offensively when you were on the floor. Can you talk a bit about that and where that goes from here?
Yeah, honestly, it started from me playing in the G. Going in the G, those guys I was getting good looks and I was hitting the shots, and I continued that going. And then when I got my chance, my opportunity to play up there, I just kept shooting, and I kept shooting, and eventually the coaches, my teammates, they started believing me, telling me to take those open shots, and it got to a point where I was getting plays drawn up for me to shoot threes to start the game. And when you have that level of confidence from your teammates and the coaches that are choosing if you're on the court, you're going to have the most ultimate confidence in yourself.
Jay, well, speaking of confidence, last year at this time, your second-round pick, unproven. You didn't really start playing consistently in the NBA until the end of January. You're not a starter really until mid-February, but you gained confidence as the season went on because of plays like that where you're knocking down threes. How are you able to carry that confidence from the second half of the regular season over into the offseason, and how do you try to carry it over into this year?
The one thing that I've always said to people when they ask me about my game, what I do is something that doesn't matter if you make a shot or if you can dribble the ball. It's about playing hard. And regardless of where I'm at, I could be in a rec league, I could be at the skins league. Like, I can control if I'm playing hard. So if I just bring those small things of playing hard and being a physical guy out there, like, nothing can control that besides me. And that's why I want to bring over and just be great at that still.
Jay Will, a little bit about the relationship of you and Isaiah Joe, both from Fort Smith, Arkansas, both attended the University of Arkansas, and that giving back to that community.
Yeah, being from there, growing up on the north side of town, I've always, before I knew I was going to make it to NBA, I always wanted to make a difference. And seeing those kids, they're practicing on the same fields, hooping on the same courts, going to the same parks, they're going through the same things I did. I want to make a difference, and I want to go back and change things to give them the resources and the tools that I might not have had when I was younger. And I want to say thank you to the Thunder for bringing back a camp. Like, that's a big thing for me, seeing the kids happy with Thunder gear on, and like, we didn't have that growing up. So just small things, step by step, I want to continue to bring tools back for the kids, and where their dreams of making it to the NBA is more achievable, and it's not so much of a dream, it's more of a goal.
My first high school playoff game was in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Yeah.
We lost. One and done.
What a letdown.
I was like ready for this story.
Yeah, right. Heck of a good, my goodness, where'd that story go?
I'm just saying, man, it was just tough. It's great to see him doing great things. I didn't have a great thing.
He's not
there.
taking the loss, though, Mike. Come on.
No, exactly.
No.
Hey, Jay Will, so your final stat line in the playing game in New Orleans, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. You drew a couple of charges. can you reflect on like the capacity you have to impact the game in so many different ways?
Yeah, I feel like that's just, I'm not going to tell you how many of whatever I'm going to get every night. I just know that every night I'm going to go out there and play hard. And whatever comes my way is going to come my way. And we were talking about the confidence of me shooting the three. I think that game I was like 1 or 0 for 6, 0 for something. And my teammates were still telling me, like, shoot the ball. And when I did eventually hit the three, it was at the end of the game, and it was an important three. And that just testifies towards the confidence that my teammates and my coaches have given me. And they know that I'm going to go out there and play hard every night. And then them giving me the confidence to do those little things, it helps my game and boosts me even more.
All right, Jay Will, well, your game is infectious.
Yeah.
We love your hard work. Your energy is infectious as well, and we
Yeah,
can't wait
thank
to
you.
see it for year 2.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a good
Thank
game.
you.
Yeah. Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Yeah, he talks about how hard he works on a nightly basis, and there's no doubt that he does. But his energy carries over to his teammates as much as anything. They feed off of him, and he's a sneaky good passer in setting up his teammates, something that you just mentioned with the assists that we saw as the season went on, because you think of him as just a second-round draft pick, but he had so much more to his game.
I have never seen a player in the time I've been in the league, a few minutes, to impact the defense as a rim protector below the rim, as he did. Never. And now you have a rim protector at and above the rim in Chet Holmgren joining the fray. So defensively, excitement coming.
Do you say defensive excitement?
Yes.
I know somebody who knows a little bit more about defensive excitement, and a lot more than just that.
I get excited every time he checks in the game.
Every single time. I'm still feeling good when he checked in about that Phoenix game last year. Remember when he came in and just sparked everybody. Aaron Wiggins, how you doing, my man?
Doing well, man. Happy to be back and excited, ready to get the season going.
You ready to go? Training camp number 3?
Oh, yeah. Training camp number 3 is flown, bro.
Now, Aaron, I'm hearing different nicknames. What's the nicknames? What are all your nicknames?
For me?
Yeah, I've heard several today, man.
I mean, they all come up with different ones every day.
I've heard A-Wig. I've heard what?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ones. I prefer Wig.
Wig.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
2 G's, though.
That's
when
what
you
I'm
write
going.
it down, you got to put 2 G's.
You got to put 2 G's. That's what I'm going with then.
There you go.
All right.
Your game and the evolution of it, can you just sort of shed light on the work you put in and how that translated a season ago, given the consistency you brought game to game, and how excited you are about season number 3 and kind of implementing all the learning that's gone on?
I mean, just in terms of the growth and everything, you know, I put a lot of focus just towards particular parts of my game that I felt like could really contribute for our team and, you know, make me successful as an individual. You know, I put a lot of work in the offseason, both after my rookie season, last season. So just keeping my head down, working hard, staying true to myself, and understanding what I have to do to, you know, be successful as an individual. And I'm super excited for year 3, man. Time has flown, and, you know, I feel like a vet. So I'm excited to be back and ready to get going.
The one thing that we really try not to underestimate on the broadcasts when it comes to you is your ability to play all these different roles at all these different times, whether it's starting, whether it's coming in at halftime, whether it's coming in with 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. You have mastered the ability to stabilize games, to come in and provide an injection of life or whatever it is that the team needs in that particular moment. And we don't want to undervalue that, but it is something that you have that's innate. And is it something that you realize that you do? And where did that skill come from? Because it is really, really hard to do, especially for a young player. But you've been able to show everybody that you can do it at a young age.
Yeah. I think kind of growing up, you know, I was somewhat of a late bloomer, I guess you could say. So there were times where, you know, my freshman year of high school, I was on varsity, but there were games that I played a lot and then games that I didn't. And so just understanding that, you know, sometimes you might not feel as ready as you are. Sometimes it might not be your time. But you got to be ready when you get the opportunity. So I always just try to prepare myself to be ready when I get the chance, when I get the opportunity to step on the floor and shine and help my teammates and, you know, help get a win. And I didn't really realize it until, you know, maybe last year. Some of the guys would just always ask me, like, how do you stay ready? Like, because you come in and you help us. And, you know, I'm on the sideline. If you look at me on the bench, I got the gun on my legs, and I'm just staying stretched and loose so that, when my number's called, I'm ready to go. And, you know, I'm going to continue to just kind of, you know, have that mindset, head down, work hard, and when my number's called, I'm ready to go.
One of the things that's so interesting to me is how you just constantly get open on cuts, and there'll be like a bounce pass, and it'll be like you're wide open under the bucket.
Yeah.
How do you identify that space and that timing to just consistently get open on a cut?
I say, man, when you have great playmakers like Shea, Giddey, even J-Dub, I mean, we've got a lot of really talented guys on the team who can do a little bit of everything, both in terms of shooting, getting to the rim, passing the ball. And when you have a guy like Giddey especially who specializes in passing the ball, it makes it easy. So, you know, they do a really good job just kind of, you know, making a defensive team focus on them a little bit. And I just try to make the game easy for my teammates and for myself by finding open cuts, open seams, anything close to the basket, or even around the perimeter. If it's open, I'm trying to get there so that I could, you know, get an easy and, you know, high percentage look. Makes the game easy for myself and just helps the team. So, like I said, it's great having playmakers and guys like that in the front court who can make that happen. But you know, I'm just trying to make the game easy.
Have you surprised yourself by the consistency you're bringing 2 seasons into your NBA career?
I wouldn't say I've surprised myself. You know, I hold myself to high standards, and I expect myself to, you know, somewhat perform at the high level when it comes. But you know, I'm very happy with, you know, what I've done in my career so far. Just looking to kind of build on it and you know, continue to grow. And you know, hopefully at the rate that I'm going, you know, I'll continue to kind of build and have success. But right now, just keeping my head down and staying locked in.
It's been fun to watch you here over these last couple of years. We look forward to what you have in store because every time you check into the game, I lean forward in my chair.
Something's
going to happen
like
this.
I'm happy to hear that, man. I'm happy to hear that, man.
Good training camp,
thank
too,
you,
man.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All
guys.
right, Aaron Wiggins.
Yes, sir.
And boy, he has been an impact player in his young career. The in-game tonic for this Oklahoma City team. I mean,
he showed me something last year that he's pretty good off the dribble. Like if, you know, 'cause you know he's got the shot, right? And you close out on him too hard, he's going to get to the basket and finish. And that's really a player that's just recognizing that, look, you know what, there's always a counter to the counter because defenses are always getting very creative in the NBA.
All right, here we go. They're coming
there
back.
weren't too many defenses creative on him last year during his rookie year.
Who's this guy? How much muscle have you put on in weight?
Some of the pictures look kind of crazy.
Yeah. Are they real?
Yeah,
man.
Getting swole.
It feels real. No, I was heavier during the summer, you know, just because you're not playing as much. So
You got those Michael Cade shoulders going right now.
He got the arms, man. He got the guns, man.
Yeah.
Well, how has the offseason been for you? Obviously, you've been in the weight room, but when you think about basketball and focus, and what's been the priority for you after having such a successful first year with the Thunder?
I think first it was just watching a lot of film. You know, when you take that like 2 weeks off after you're done playing, it's kind of like a mental reset. So just try to see what I can improve on. So I'm kind of looking at my last year's highlights like, oh, wow, there's like so much other stuff I can do well. So that's kind of how I started. And then just kind of over the season, just kind of implementing that. I think, you know, anytime you can watch film and kind of implement that into my workout and like what I'm doing, I feel like that's like an easy way to kind of get better. So
what are those things as you watch film that you want to improve on?
I mean, I think defensively, you know, just getting the rotations right, understanding personnel. That's just the player in me to go watch everybody else play. And then offensively, I think, you know, there's a lot of stuff where you can't really teach. It's like cutting without the ball and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is kind of getting to my spots, finding where I was most comfortable last year and figuring out different ways to get to that. Coach Mark made a good point. You know, everybody's seeing you play now. Everybody kind of knows what you want to do, so you kind of always have to add some more stuff to your game. So, yeah, just looking at spots where I was most effective and trying to figure out different ways to get there.
Did you notice more defensive attention being paid to you as the season wore on? Last year you finished so strong. And in anticipation of you being built into opposing teams' game plans, what do you unleash now that maybe elevates things?
I think just being more efficient with what I do. You know, a lot of times it's kind of like, I wouldn't say a struggle, but, you know, you always want to try and find easier ways to score. So any way I can possibly do that would be, you know.
I got a drone.
Any way I could do that would be probably the best way. But, yeah, you kind of hit it on the head. I think, you know, obviously people are going to give you more and more attention. So anytime you can be more efficient towards that, it has a good, it has good range for it. And we also, you know, we're adding more pieces, so people are going to have to pay attention to a lot of people this year.
You had a terrific rookie year. Was there at any point in time during the season last year where you said, I figured something out? Because it seems like something clicked. You didn't have the kind of normal rookie year that people would anticipate because it seems like you were just slicing through defenses. Mm-hmm. You were figuring out how to be in the right spots on the rotations defensively. Was there any point where it just clicked on you, or was it just gradual?
A little bit gradual. I kind of had like a rough start to the year just with my eye. So that made me really hesitant to really want to go to the rim just because I had gotten hit in the face. So I was really cautious with that. And then I think a lot of it was just my team and coaches kind of believing in me to kind of just let me go out there and play. Not every rookie kind of gets that opportunity to have the ball. And
I didn't, man, by the way. I was like, I didn't get that. So that's true.
Yeah.
You don't always get that opportunity.
So I'm grateful for that. You know, Mark kind of just had me out there and was like letting me kind of make mistakes and figure it out. So I think that helps. And I think dangerous players are when they have confidence. So I was just kind of going out there and playing hard, and everything kind of fell in line.
So piggyback on that, I think of a part last year where it did seem like something sort of clicked with you was when SGA went out in health and safety protocols. I think he had an ankle thing, and you had the ball in your hands a little bit more than you previously had. Do you remember that stretch, and was that kind of important in maybe kind of building up that confidence as a playmaker and scorer?
Yeah, I had the ball more, so there's probably a lot more opportunities to score and just kind of create. But yeah, I thought the team also, played really good in that stretch as well. A lot of guys kind of stepped up, and I think I was just kind of finding my niche within that group. And then, just kind of being on the ball. I mean, when you get those reps in the game, it's way different from practice. I think that kind of accelerates, my learning in regards to that. And like you say, having the ball, I think when you have to read the defense and have the ball and kind of create for everybody else and find your own, I think that really kind of helped me figure out what I want to do.
J-Dub, I remember a game you beat the Clippers in LA. You came on post-game radio with me. I asked you, what are you learning about yourself to this point in your rookie season? You said nothing really. And I love that response in that there's a balance of humility about how you carry yourself, but also a confidence that's more on the quiet side. How do you balance that internally, and how does that impact your game?
I was just raised like that, don't do a lot of talking in regards to that, but I think Michael Jordan has a good quote about, if you put a lot of the work in, that'll just kind of boost your confidence. You don't really have to worry about anything. So I think knowing that I was, going to shoot afterwards and just working on my game the way I do, I think that kind of instills that kind of confidence in me. And then, also understanding that there's going to be highs and lows, of an 82 game or, obviously if you play the playoffs, you play 100 games. So it's you're not going to play well every single night. You're going to have stretches where you don't play well, shoot the ball well. So just kind of understanding that, I think, kind of gave me a lot of confidence going into the year.
J-Dub, just going back and listening to you last year, there was something that came up a lot. You said that you didn't want to become stagnant in your rookie year. You never really hit that rookie wall. And I wouldn't say it was a motto, but it was something that we heard you say a lot. Is there something like that this year that you really want to stand by? Whether it's, hey, I don't want to get stagnant, or I really want to improve in this. Is there something like that you're telling yourself on a daily basis, hey, this is going to kind of be my motto going into the year?
Improve. I think every day you leave the gym, you should kind of go out and be like, I got better a little bit. It doesn't have to be anything, exponential, but I think just going in with the mindset of I got better today or I learned something new, I think that's kind of the biggest thing. When you can stack days like that over the course of the year, and then obviously the more years you play, day in and day out, you just become a better player. So I think that's what I kind of mean by not being stagnant, always kind of leaving with something, whether it be a film session, learning more about myself, or, obviously on the court, if I can work on something I don't like doing usually, then, that's kind of what I hang my hat on.
You mentioned what Coach Mark said about how the book's kind of out on you. Teams are going to play you differently. It makes me think of Josh last year transitioning from his rookie year, which was really good.
Yeah.
And he got off to a little bit of a slow start. And it was some of that reason is, you've got a lot of guys that have gone through a rookie year and gone into a second year. Is that something you could look to them to even shed some advice on that sort of thing of making that transition?
Yeah, for sure. And to Josh's credit, too, I think we just had a lot of new pieces last year. I thought he was about to sneak up on me. I'm not going to lie. I heard his voice.
Yeah. No, you were right. He stepped back. You were right.
Yeah, like I was saying, to Josh's credit, we had a lot of new pieces and moving around to the beginning of the year, and I thought he did a good job of, kind of handling that and then finding his game. I just kind of use him as a model in regards to kind of sticking through the process. That's just one of those things. You're going to have ups and lows and highs, kind of going into the year. So just kind of sticking with that, and he did a good job of sticking to it. So that's something that I kind of want to incorporate. And, obviously we got a lot more pieces and weapons this year, so it'll be cool to kind of mingle with the guys and see what works throughout the year.
All right, J-Dub, we can't wait to see it. Year 2 coming up. all I know is if I was a ball handler, I would not want to try to go around him or have to deal with him. He is a unit.
He's got great length, man.
A unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
J-Dub.
Yeah, the camera's just not doing it justice. I'm looking over there and I'm like, he is built.
Yeah.
And so from one great player to another here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Welcome. Saving the best. Maybe they were saving the best for last here. How are you? How are you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
How was the summer?
It was good. It was fun. Eventful.
I'm sure it was eventful. So my first question is, of all the things that you did and all the things that you were a part of, what was the highlight?
Winning bronze was very fun. You obviously you go into the tournament, you want to win gold, but the whole journey of it, playing with guys that I kind of grew up with, are from where I'm from, and are doing the same things, and then achieving history through that process was special.
Had Canada ever placed a medal in
that tournament? No, never.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Shai, representing your country, can you put into words like the impact that has for you internally, having gone through that experience, and how might it impact you this season in the NBA?
Yeah, it adds a little bit more meaning to the basketball, just because there's so much history behind it, and the like everybody on the team has the same thing in common. Like they're from the same general area, neighborhoods. Sometimes it's the same group of kids that are looking up to you guys. But yeah, it adds a little bit more meaning to the name on the front. And then, in terms of the actual basketball, I think from what I experienced last summer playing a few games, I felt like sharper coming into the season, just because I had played a few games with real refs, real competition, real rotations, real everything. Like you can try to implement it and pick up throughout the summer, which guys try to do, but it's very hard to replicate. And doing so as much as you can, I think, only helps. And I felt that it helped last summer, and hopefully it helped this summer going to the season.
You know, Shai, one of the things Coach Mark talked a little bit about is people look at last year and the improvement with winning 16 more games, the net rating got better, and they can look at that as just like an isolated breakthrough. But really, there was so much that went in. You've been in the ground floor of this, going back to the season with no fans in the building even. Were there moments back then where you could just see those sorts of things building up? Because this has been a continuum. It's been a process to get to where last year was and to what hopefully this year could be.
Yeah, it's a process. I know that sounds cliche, but everybody goes through their own process, and worrying about the outcome and trying to look too far ahead is where you get caught up and you trip up and either stall yourself or get it wrong. And I think what's helped me in my basketball career to get to the point where I'm at, and I think it's helped this organization get better in such a quick amount of time, is to just take the same approach at plugging away every day, and trying to do the right things every day, and eventually the right things add up and you're rewarded for it. And whatever time it looks like, it's going to turn itself out. You have to be patient. Obviously, it doesn't happen exactly when you want it to sometimes, but the only thing you can control is every day and plugging away at it. And I think that's what I try to model myself by in this organization as well.
Shai, your success came within the structure of the team, made the team better. I know that's really important to you. I'm curious, as you add Chet Holmgren and the skill and the talent he brings, you've not played directly with him publicly yet. I know you have in the different scrimmage settings and that kind of thing. But how excited are you about him integrating with what you guys are all about?
Yeah, I'm super excited. He's very talented. Brings a lot of things to the game. Length, versatility. He's a competitor. He wants to win at the end of the day. And then on top of that, he's a great guy and easy to get along with, easy to play with. So I think he can only add to this group with his skill set, with his attitude. And then for me personally, playing with a guy that has weapons only makes it easier for myself, and vice versa. Me being a weapon makes it easier for the guys around me. I think we all know that, and we try to embrace it and be better for each other.
Shai, every single year you've been in the league, your game has grown, and you've gotten better. Obviously, you had a fantastic year last year, All-NBA. I'm sure that you expect your game to continue to grow. Where do you see the most room for growth going into year number 6?
For me, it's all about winning games. Throughout the summer and throughout last season as well, there's a lot of games where if you watch the last quarter, last 8 minutes, last 5 minutes, there's little things that change the course of those minutes, and those are the most meaningful minutes every game. And trying to get better in those moments is where the best players rise and the best teams rise and get the job done. And I think the more we can get better at that, it will only help us. And that's something that I've tried to focus on just from my position on the team throughout the summer. And then as we do so as a group as well, we'll be better.
Well, you've certainly got a reel of game winners already. You've had your moments so far, so don't worry. But I know what you mean. Collectively as a team, you want to pull out some of those close games.
Right.
But we look forward to it. Can't wait for season number 6 for you. And good luck on all the success that you've already had, and we look forward to this season.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yep. Thank you,
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander coming off an All-NBA season, year number 6 for him coming up.
Appreciate it, guys.
Always great to talk to him. He is ready, primed, and ready for this upcoming season, as are we. And training camp starts tomorrow. First preseason game.
He's ready to go. Look, he's
from
running.
today. Where's he going? He's going to the gym.
Running the gym. He's running the gym.
He just said, I'm ready.
Going to get some shots up.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple of these guys going to go get some shots.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what I like most of all about him? For a young player who's experienced so much success so quickly, he's very humble, and he's willing to put in the work. He understands that it's not done yet. It's not finished. I'm not complete as a player. I understand that. His level of maturity has always been there, and I believe that's what got him to where he's at right now. I mean, anytime you're first team all NBA, in your fourth season, that's pretty impressive. And, to go from, really no one not really knowing who he was his first season in Los Angeles with the Clippers to everybody knows who Shea is today is really just shows you the body of work that he's put in.
Yeah, Mike, that's exactly where my thought went. Is we've all gotten to know Shea pretty well over the last couple of years. He's the same guy.
Yeah,
that is the same guy that he was 3-4 years ago when he showed up in Oklahoma City playing alongside Chris Paul. He's matured. He's gotten better. He obviously has a mind for discovery. He wants to learn everything he can possibly learn, but he takes the same approach. His consistency is remarkable. And that's why he is the player that he is, and that's why, like you asked him, Chris, that's why there's room for growth still with him, because he's a lifelong learner. He just wants to get better. He wants to break things down to the studs and start from the beginning and figure out how he can get better at something. He likes to take on challenges. That's why he started learning how to play tennis. He was like, I want to learn how to play a new thing. I want to be bad at it, and I want to get good at it. He's addicted to improvement, and that's what makes him such a great player.
I don't often use the word great. I mean, he's becoming one of the greats. And I think a lot of what you just laid out, and you, Michael, as well, there's a basketball IQ that has court vision within him. Like, he sees more than just the game directly in front of him, and he's willing to expand into that. And if that's selflessly expanding to make his teammates better, with an eye on winning, and I think in his mind he's thinking championships, plural. It's evident in what he brings day to day to this organization and game to game in terms of teams game plan for him. He saw the double teams, he saw the shadow triple teams at time, and he was willing to give the ball up in those moments, trusting his teammates, and that goes a long way to ensuring success for your group if you're willing to trust him that way.
And something else too that he has a quality of being, one of the star players today is that he's got a cool hand Luke approach. You were talking about all the attention that he commands defensively. Sometimes they're very physical. They hit him hard going to the basket, and he just gets up, shoots his free throws because he shoots it at over 90%, and guess what? He's going to go back to that free throw line again if you put him down on that floor. So he, and I think, when you talk about that, his teammates are watching him. So it takes that back to the locker room. He's also a great locker room guy. When you talk about leadership in that locker room, you can't look any further than that guy right there.
All the way back to his rookie season, Chris, opposing coaches would say about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, you can't speed him up. He's got a pace at which he plays, and you can't speed him up. That's special. That's unique, especially for a guy just learning on this level. It's pretty remarkable.
And, of course, we can't forget about the defensive strides that he made last
Great point,
year.
Chris, yeah.
He made some great defensive plays, really setting the standard. He made it a point that he wanted to be a two-way player and made some difference-making plays on the defensive end. All right, guys, final thoughts. We've run through the entire roster. We got to hear from just about everybody. Michael, we'll start with you.
Well, training camp is all about getting to know your teammates, figuring out we start from zero right now. We build it up, and I think that's going to be really important for a young team that's added a few pieces. And I think the nucleus is there. And, Mark Daigneault has been excellent at organizing these guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a week from tonight, Royce, where the Thunder will open up the preseason against the Spurs.
It's so exciting to have another season back. And, I mean, I've been around this team for a long time, and you can just feel the energy and the buzz and the excitement, and it feels so good to feel that way about Thunder basketball. The city obviously rallies around its team like nobody else, and to have this group of guys, and one of the things that just sticks out to me every time we interact with them, you talk to them, you hang out with them, they're awesome guys, and they have the right type of mindset. They fit not just with the organization, but the city itself, the state's identity. They're about hard work. They're about the right things. They're about being together, and it makes them really just fun to watch and root for. And so I'm stoked about this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see where they get better. Can't wait for some of the heartbreaks and the, arguing with your friends and talking about what needs to happen. It's just fun. Basketball's great. It's great to have it back.
One of the things that's really evident to me, guys, is that they believe in the work they're putting in. There's buy-in. There's full buy-in. And you can't substitute for that. I mean, if you bring your heart, you bring your entire spirit into what you're doing, which all of these guys do, it's evident. It translates. The mortar's set for this season, but the bricks haven't been laid yet, and I think they recognize that. So what went on last season, there's a lot of accolades, there's a lot of national attention about it. They recognize it's 0-0 mentality. They've got to bring it daily, and I think they absolutely will. That was my sense in hearing them all communicate today.
Yeah, in kind of comparing this to last year, there was a little bit of a youthful exuberance last year that I think kind of carried over into the season. There was a much more business-like approach today than I remember in years past. I mean, I think that these guys are ready to get to work. I think they're ready to improve. We don't know anything that's going to happen over the course of the season, but improvement and development seems to be kind of one of those common themes that they want to implement on a daily basis over the course of what is going to be a very long season, 82 games over the course of 7 months, and we can't wait. All right, first time we're going to be able to see this young team will be on Monday, a week from today. Of course, you can still get tickets. First preseason game of the year will be at Paycom Center against the San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembanyama, he will be there. OKCThunder.com/buy tickets. The first of 5 preseason games before the regular season gets going on October 25th. Thank you so much for everybody who contributed today to this stream. Eric Date, our director, Steve Melton behind us, Andy Gibson, Joel, Royce Young, Matt Pinto, Michael Cage, myself, Chris Fisher. Next time we'll talk to you will be on Monday. Of course, that'll be on the mobile app, OKC Thunder mobile app. You can watch that preseason game against San Antonio. For all of us here from downtown Oklahoma City, thanks for watching.